Yes, it is time. Oh, my goodness. What are we doing, Jay? Hey, it's time to do some basketball action. Man, what a mess. It is so bright outside. We so rarely do games during the daylight. It's a little trippy. Anyway, guys, it is awesome to see you guys here today. Got to cut my mic down just a little bit there. We had a fun bourbon blend last night. I see many of you have come in from the storm that was Courtney's Corner last night, which was absolutely insane. Insane. I don't even know if that puts the right word on it. Got to get that eagle lighted up, man. Lit up, excuse me. Yes, it's time for basketball action. The Auburn Tigers taking on the Ole Miss Rebels here momentarily, live from Nashville, Tennessee. You may know it as Nashville, Tennessee, the country music capital of the entire world. One thing of note before we get going, and we have some super chats coming through from some of the legends, the pillars of the community. It looks like Simo is going to be starting for the Auburn Tigers today in place of Chad Bacon Lasagna, who may be facing some kind of punitive measure due to getting kicked out of the Alabama game due to a flagrant 2. We don't know that. That hasn't been discussed publicly, but that's what's happened in the past, and that's what's happening right now. So, that is something we'll keep an eye on today. I totally expect Chad to play. Look at BP. Look at him. He's in his element. CDF jumps in with a super chat to start us off. The guy is an absolute stud coming in from the far left coast, but he's definitely from the state of Alabama, and he loves Auburn. Says, get back on the dub train. Give him a drop for that. We love it when CDF is here with us. He's a good luck charm, honestly, and he was one of the rare Auburn Tigers fans to make it all the way to Maui to see them play out there in that tournament. War Eagle 0008 has been with us, the whole time, really. Says, Word, I'm Eagle fam. Let's get this W. Thanks for the show, JDT. Thank you for being here, my guy. If it weren't for you guys, I'd just be an idiot talking into a tuna can with a string on it. You know what I mean. Stu Pub jumps in with a super chat. The guy has super chatted us every single show we've ever done. Tourney basketball is a special kind of nervous. Do we even have a song for that? Yeah, we do. We have a soundbite for that because the Ole Miss Rebels are.
Well. The most diabolical haters this side of the Mississippi.
We don't really hate Ole Miss that much, but when you're playing somebody for a third time this season, you've got to hate them a little bit. Feel Like a Stranger, who was with us briefly on the show last night. Bourbon blending, Courtney's cornering, and doing all the other stuff. We love it. Word up, much love, Drainers, Swigans, and Tates. Let's get it. Cheney bounce back game and Broom domination. That would be terrific, right? Simo starting Chad Bacon Lasagna, refocused big game. Tahad going to do his thing. Of course, Tahad, we were all kind of wondering coming into the season, hey, coming in so young, true freshman, what can he actually do? And the answer is a hell of a lot. He is great on the ball. He's a great passer, very creative, good shooter, deeper the better, and has a tendency to rise to the big moments with the minor exception of missing some key free throws during the final 2 minutes of the game against Alabama at home last time out. But a very rare misstep for him, and his freshman season, I think you'd have to give it an A+. I think they will be relying on him some today, just because they always do. And when the lights get brighter and the stage gets bigger, it seems like Tahad finds a way to just make himself such a big part of what they do on the court. So that'll be fun to keep an eye on today. Let's go ahead and move over to our main page here. That's a look at the Ole Miss scouting report, such as it is. Solid team. I mean, offense and defense are good. Coach Beard, Chris Beard I think he's a terrific coach. I think he'll be the Indiana coach next year, but whatever. That's somebody else's problem. Turnover percentage, very low for the Ole Miss Rebels. It's tough to turn them over, but they are not a great rebounding team. You can see that. And I think that's exactly what Auburn needs. Auburn's rebounding has been not great lately. In the A&M game, it was atrocious. In the Alabama game, it was merely not good enough. And I think Ole Miss gives Auburn an opportunity to come into the game and assert itself as, hey, we can rebound well. We can get these offensive rebounds, get stickbacks, I think it's going to be a big part, a big area of emphasis today for sure. You can see Ole Miss solid shooting wise, 3-point, 2-point free throw, about even. I mean, they're like solid. Just a solid team. I don't know. Auburn beat them by 10 at their place earlier in the season, and then when it was at Neville, it was just it got really bad at the end, and Auburn won that by around 30. Ole Miss switches everything, and their goal really is to try to get advantageous one-on-one matchups on the attacking end, and that's how Padula went off so much in the first game. They were able to line him up on Janai, and even though Janai's a good defender, he's not Padula. I mean, he can't really defend Padula that well. And Ole Miss starts off with a mid-ranger over Janai. Let's see where Vin says he's having to stream the game on his phone. Hope you got a good one, bro. Hope you got a super duper Pro Max Tim Cook special. Ole Miss is passing with tempo today. I thought they got a little solo-y, a little one-on-one-y in the game at Neville. And when you do that against Auburn, that's almost always a problem. Almost always. Decent three-point attempt from Ole Miss. I mean, the kick out, I'm sorry, the closeout was good, so they didn't have a lot of space there. Again, you got Chris Simo playing wing in lieu of Chad. I think Chad will probably check in here shortly. Ole Miss just going one-on-one. Denver Jones with the first. Oh, boy. Splash. Quick shot from Denver. Pass over from Simo. And I just put it up immediately from probably 5 feet past the line. 4 feet maybe. Great rhythm shooter, and Ole Miss knows that. They should know better than to let him get in a rhythm like that. Look, they're going to try to post up Simo, but he's got Janai there to help him. Oh, man, they hit a three. It was obviously a shot Auburn was fine with them taking. But he hit that one. Small Victories says, I took off work to watch this. Outstanding. And Stoop Up says Ole Miss is a perfect look for the 8-9 winner we will see next week, assuming that it's not UConn, right? They're probably a little better than Ole Miss. But I think that's fair to say. Wonder who the other 8-9 potential teams would be. Like maybe the Michigan Wolverines or something like that. Be sweet to play Trey Donaldson again. Auburn gets his first offensive rebound of the game. Nice little kick out from Dillon. A 3-point shot for Janai that I don't like, as you guys know. Not a fan. And Schaefer Kid just says, let's kick some bunks. Hell yeah, I like it. We don't have to say the bad words, do we? Damn it. Dylan's got to get in there. Nice block. Nice block. Oh, they called a foul on the second one. A little too much body on that one, I reckon. Yeah, absolutely spicy peanuts that the pace is slow. It was funny. I was watching it. I have a column up on the front of auburnsports.com right now about just kind of how important this postseason is going to be for Auburn. And in getting that column together, I watched BP. There, Chad just checked in. I watched BP's inaugural or first press conference at Auburn, and one of the things he talked about in that is that we're going to run a lot. We're going to push tempo a lot. And, you remember earlier in BP's career here, he did push tempo a lot, but this team doesn't run real fast. I mean, they don't have that frenetic pace that we've seen in the past. They don't need it. When you got somebody like Janai, who's such an operator in the quarter, the half court, however you want to look at it, and you've got set shooters, rhythm shooters like Denver, like Miles, you don't have to run. And in fact, you're probably hurting yourself to run. That's what I'm talking about right there. Denver, he's heating up. I'm going to have to get a heating up on that one.
He's heating up.
CJ in the Hizzle, what's up, my man? CJ's made it in for this daylight game. It's rare we see Auburn playing in the daylight. But it's that time of year, folks. I would love for Auburn's NCAA tournament games to be during the day as well. Just because, I don't know, it's just different. All right, so you got your first shift change here. Well, I guess Chad coming in was the first shift change, but now you've got Tahad and Chaney sliding in, which moves Denver to 2 and moves Janai to 5. He's playing more of a 4 when Dylan's in there. Out of bounds lob. That's a design play right there. They're going to call Chaney for being out of bounds. Okay. A bit of a mental mistake there by Chaney, or positional mistake. Auburn doing just a little, well, I was going to say pressing to slow down, but not really. Denver just conceded ground pretty easily, and they're just going to defend here in the half court, starting with 23 seconds on the shot clock. So not really taxing the defense too much here. Boy, Tahad's fighting through these screens, isn't he? He gives it hell, man. There you go. Nice rebound from Tahad Pettiford. I don't think Ole Miss can win this game without second chance opportunities. And so far, we're only about 5 minutes in, but they haven't had many. Auburn's defensive rebounding has been really good so far. Tahad with what I thought was a poor out-of-system shot there. Didn't like the offensive situation going on. Oh, Janai, ouch. He got hoodooed big time by Padula's fake shot there. He's a little late on the kick out, on the closeout, excuse me. I don't know why I say kick out. First timeout is now going on, and which means we're going to get our first dose. Not the daily dose. Hey, I saw Chad Pruitt's wife, Tanya, there in the shot behind BP. Our first chance to look at some hot, fresh stats, even though they could be misleading this time in the game, but we still look at them because numbers are numbers. And we like numbers, usually. Usually. I'm saying usually, guys. All right. Come on, Jay. Get yourself together, bro. All right, there's the hot, fresh stats right there. Let's get this pulled over and get it sized up nice and pretty. Done this a bunch of times this season, so I'm getting better at getting that first one go through there. Let's see, Auburn 2 of 6 shooting. They're 2 of 5. You know, I love assist to turnover, 1-1 for Ole Miss, 2-1 for the Auburn Tigers, rebounding 3-4 in favor of Ole Miss, although it's early. Second chance opportunities, 1 point for Ole Miss. They got the foul on Dylan. Ephesians is hot and fresh. That's right. CJ loves the defense you're seeing from Chad right now on Padula. Thomas K says he's a fan of the Ole Miss towel guy. I didn't see what you were talking about. Tell me about what you like about him. And Spicy P says, surprised we aren't pushing more given they played yesterday. Padula hit a big shot to put them over Arkansas, break an 80-80 tie with about 2 seconds to go. A crazy, crazy day at the SEC tournament yesterday. I mean, to think that shot from Padula to put them ahead of Arkansas in the last 2 seconds was probably the third best finish of the day. Texas beating Texas A&M in 2 overtimes was huge. And the Kentucky-Oklahoma game, I don't even know what to tell you about that one. That was just insanity. I mean, I guess if you believe that sports kind of follows stories, like storylines, like OA finding a way to wreck his former team again last night was kind of in the cards, right? But I did not think it would actually go down. I mean, Kentucky was up 10 with like 2 minutes to go in that game. I was like, I'm about to turn it off. And the next thing you know, Jeremiah Fears gets Oklahoma ahead with like 5 or 6 seconds to go. Jeez. Small Victor says, I didn't want Arkansas. Yeah, same. I thought that Ole Miss was a better matchup for Auburn. Thomas Case is not a fan, LOL. He's on the bench of Ole Miss. Is he a talker? I love that BP just gets it, like with the kids and stuff. He understands the technology and he's cool with it. And he takes the time to do it. He's great about that stuff. Considering he's a guy in his 60s, remember at the end of the day, he's a grandfather more than once. It was also interesting going back through some of the old stuff from Bruce yesterday. That I had forgotten that he used to wear a tie. He used to wear a suit when he coached, and there was some point maybe 2 years ago where he said, I'm not doing this anymore. I think he said something about, he's got gray hair now and he just don't really care as much. I respect it about his appearance. He does care very much about the basketball. Let's see, Stephen N., also not a fan of the Ole Miss towel guy. Oh, you're talking about the hype man right there. All right, so Miles Kelly misses his first three of the day. Good look from the corner. Not quite Scotty P's corner, but the corner nonetheless. Auburn's still playing man-to-man. They do not want Padula on Tahad Pettiford, so that will not happen. They're trying to run an off-ball screen to get Padula away from Tahad Pettiford, but it wasn't working for shit. Dylan came in a little hot there and knocked the ball out of bounds. Came in hot. I wonder what Auburn's record is with Jay Billis doing the games. Pretty good, I think. There he is, the Canoeman. Wow, that's a tough shot from Ole Miss. Give him credit for hitting that shot. Fall away turnaround. It's a tough one there. Canoeman jumps in with a super chat. Says, War damn drain. Smash the like button, yo. We only have 5 likes so far. Thank you, Canoeman, for reminding everyone. I wish I could give it a thumbs up, but I'm me, so I can't do that. Chad Bacon Lasagna from 3. Didn't love the shot, but that's okay. Dylan's going to pick up a second foul, kind of noodling for a rebound that he wasn't going to get. And so now he's going to have to go sit. Dylan and Chaney, it's the same story, man. They just got to – I think it's coming from a good place, But early fouls, I don't know, man. Again, Canoeman, the very definition of a pillar of the community. An important part of the chat in all platforms. Spicy P thinks the offense looks a little lazy. I don't like the word lazy, but content to take long shots. I would agree. I haven't liked the passing tempo yet. I don't like that shot from Tahad either. And considering he didn't even hit rim, I guess BP not going to like that one either. Wow, that's a nice rebound for Ole Miss. They get a 3. Second chance opportunity. Great question, Ephesians. Why are we settling for so many threes? We have advantage inside. I think they're having a hard time getting the ball in there. You can see they're just trying to get passes off to the periphery and just got one tipped away trying to go to Miles on a relatively standard just side pass. Yeah, I'm with you completely, D-Luck. He doesn't like the shot selection from Tahad so far. That last one, I don't understand. He probably had 20 seconds on the shot clock. Just rolled off a high screen and just put it right up. Now, I mean, did have a look at the bucket, and he wasn't particularly deep, but maybe try to get in the system a little bit more. I feel like a stranger. Great point. He says it straight and short. When we pass, we score. It's that simple. When Auburn has the passing tempo going, they're impossible to stop. What a creative pass from Chaney to get the ball to Janai, who is fouled almost immediately. Chaney kind of reaching backward and going low and around defenders to get the ball to number 4. It was pretty cool right there. Zip. That was badass. Padula knew he was out of his element right there. Bego says, is Auburn just giving up driving to the basket? I mean, here's the thing, dude. So who's a big driver on this team, right? Oh, Janai, bad miss on the free throw there. Your best driver is probably Miles, and I think he lacks confidence, honestly, because his finishing's been poor, right? He does a great job of getting toward the basket and getting in position to finish, and then he doesn't finish. I feel like most everybody else is looking for a shot, you know? I mean, Chad Bacon, Lasagna, Denver, Miles, these days is mostly looking for shots. Hell, Janai takes 2 or 3 threes a game now. You don't see him finishing going toward the bucket as much anymore. And I wonder sometimes if that's a problem. Of course, he's going to say, I'm a National Player of the Year, bro. Todd Pettiford with a right-handed finish. In traffic, in transition, with a little push-off, a legal push-off. Very creative play. I should say creative. It's just a veteran-type play, honestly. Boy, they were trying to line up Janai right there, and he was not having that. All right. Oh, Denver with a rare, unforced error on a pass. Oh, they're under the 12 now. Yeah, Grind. I've been saying this all year. I'm glad that you see that. And you know Ball. He says, we shoot too many jumpers to get foul calls. You're 100% right. People always say, and it's been a little different in the last few games, but early on, like in January, Auburn would get outshot at the free throw line by 10 or 15 a game. And people would say, it's the refs screwing Auburn. And I said, Auburn's jump shooting all the time. Like, they don't foul jump shooters. You get fouls when you go inside or you drive, right? And when you're taking mid-range or threes, you don't get fouled very often unless there's a late closeout, right? D-Lucky thinks that Ole Miss might have tipped that ball out of bounds. Maybe they'll review that as we go to that media timeout. And, Yo, Malcolm, thank you for bringing up the fact that Patch Adams is the one. He's the lead official for this game, which means there's going to be plenty of replays. D-Lucky actually he crunched the numbers on this, D-Lucky did. 7.27, I believe is the number, D-Lucky, reviews per game for Patch Adams. Which means we all spend an extra 20 minutes a game watching him review stuff on a TV instead of watching the players that we enjoy watching, the great athletes, compete on the floor. It's very puzzling. I don't necessarily think he's a bad official. I just think he really likes to spend some time deliberating over some minuscule shiz. Time to get some hot, fresh stats up here as we move a little deeper into the game. 2 segments in now. Still pretty much even. And now we have the hot, fresh stats. Thank you again, Kaneman. D-Lucky says 7.27 per 30. Thank you for clarifying. I did not point out that it was per 30. The Auburn Tigers 3 of 10 from the floor. Not great. Of course, they're 4 of 12. They're not happy with that either. 2 of 8, 2 of 7. Pretty even there. 1 of 2 from the line for each team. Rebounding, Auburn's down 3. Again, early, but if we get to the next segment and they're still down, I'm going to be like, guys, what are we doing? 3 offensive rebounds for Ole Miss, and they now have a 6-0 advantage in second chance opportunities. I said at the top of this game, Ole Miss can't win this game without a pretty big advantage, I think, in a double-digit advantage anyway in second chance points, and they're well on their way here. I think we're all a little puzzled by Auburn playing slow so far, methodical ball, I guess, in the quarter court, but then taking some kind of harried, rushed shots despite that. So it's still early. I don't start worrying until there's about 2 minutes left in the game. You know me. Nick reminding everyone to smash that like button. My man, thank you. Kanuman appealed for that early and only got 2 likes out of it. Just Kanuman by himself should be worth 5 likes just being here. That's one man's opinion. Sure would be cool if we could have a Courtney's Corner during the basketball games, especially the day games, you know. Unfortunately, she's working. She works a lot. Anthony R. thinks there might be just a little bit of rust got to get knocked off, which I think is fair. It's been a little while since the last game where they played Saturday. Now it's Friday. Remember that time Ole Miss beat Tennessee? That was kind of cool. Again, thanks for checking me out, or checking out the channel, I should say, here on probably a difficult day for a lot of you guys to check in. Friday, noon Central Time, 1 o'clock for our friends in the Eastern Time Zone. I know you guys are working on stuff if you're not at work. It's kind of a different time, when we're vibing at 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock on a weekday, or, midday on a weekend. It's a different vibe, We got a work day going right now, and I appreciate you guys carving out some time to hang out here on The Drain. Now, see, if I was an Ole Miss fan, I would be a little bit upset about that not being called a foul under the bucket there. I still think there was some contact. Janai rushing a shot there and just didn't quite finish, man. You remember there was a time 2 months ago we would have called that an 80% shot, but it just hasn't happened here lately. Anthony R says, not me, I'm off work. Boom. Anthony working ahead on that one. Working ahead. I think Small Victory said he was off as well. Ole Miss, just some of these shots from Ole Miss are bad. I mean, that was a good shot quality, I think, to just a bad shot. Just wasn't even close to going in. All right, so we got Simo in there again. Kind of wish I could see Kai right there. Great pass to Janai, and he gets the easy one inside. Good way to get Janai started. Get him a nice straightforward look near the bucket, about 2 feet out. And I'm not sure what Ole Miss is doing there, but not guarding Janai would be the short answer. Runner 24, who was also a huge part of the Bourbon Blend last night. Glad to have you here again, sir. Let's hope Auburn sorts out a few things today and starts a nice SEC tourney run. That would be great, just like they did last year. Oh, boy, he got absolutely shit-canned on that one, didn't he? Todd Pettiford was like, no, we're not doing that. If you're going to go to the rack on me, there's going to be some pain or embarrassment. And I think in that case, it was both. Don't go to the rack on a Jersey kid, man. Unless you're prepared. To pay the price. Auburn kind of quietly and incrementally is starting to play some better basketball here in the last 3 minutes. Just an absolute SWAT city on a three-pointer. Number 5's having a tough minute. He got his shit pocked up on the drive, and then he got his shit stuffed right there on a 3. So he might want to reconsider some of the shot selection choices there. It's interesting that they said Cheney is a Huntsville transfer. Oh, man, I thought that might have been a foul. Janai gets the dunk ski.
Boom, shakalaka!
Said Cheney was a transfer from Huntsville. I mean, I guess that's true. He is a transfer from Huntsville, from the city of Huntsville. I probably think it would have been better to say UAH, but that's okay. Dude, Janai spun out of one guy and then dunked over 2 more. That's a pretty sweet move there. Pretty good. And Spicy, I'm with you, bro. It did look like a foul to me. I'm surprised that wasn't even considered. Auburn, by the way, on a 7-0 run. Ole Miss has 3 turnovers in the last 3 minutes. 3 of the last 5 possessions have been turnovers, and they were on a scoring drought until they're about to score a bucket right here. BP getting a little close to the Ole Miss player there, kind of inadvertently. Lamar Odom with a 3 right there. Looks like Lamar Odom anyway. On my screen. Long and thin, and wearing number 7. The former Rhode Island Ram. Oh, another nice pass inside of Janai. This time from Denver J, last name redacted. And Janai's going to be going to the line. D-Lucky thinks he's seen a little bit more explosiveness from Janai with that ankle injury still continuing to get better little by little. Steven, a fan of Pettiford, said he's a dog. He is indeed. He absolutely brings it and takes it personally all the time. Janai there hitting his first of 2 free throws, getting it equalized at 14. And Colby was really hoping to see Janai knock down some free throws. And he did it right there. So that was a 2 for Friday for Janai right there. Padula with a mistake. Gives the ball away. Makes up for Denver throwing that ball away about 3 minutes ago. Bego says, at his age, should Chad be taking 401k in his next NIL deal? Some people, there's some sentiment on the bunker of people who don't want Chad back next year. I'm not sure about that. I think Chad's a terrifically talented player, and he's been pretty dang good for Auburn, all things considered. A second chance opportunity for Sir Turtle.
Drop.
Gets that, God, that guy was going crazy, wasn't he? Gets the offensive board and just goes up like a man among boys. It was nicely done. Auburn hedging that screen about 23 feet out, which is surprising with Janai of all people. I like Turtle not going back down with that ball, though. He just went right back up. It's weird seeing his Hudson. I always just think of him as Turtle. Just expected to say Turtle. T-Roy Tiger puts up the turtle emoji. I love it. Yeah, perfect. CJ says Fig Jam got in people's heads there, yeah. About Chad a little bit. Boy, there's some good defense from Chad, causing problems. Got a little elbow to the kidney right there, too. He was on the receiving end, by the way, not on the giving end. Almost having some trouble right now getting their shot quality up. This is a ridiculous shot. He did get fouled, though. Justin C. asks, is Turtle a one-year guy? I think so, man. So we're past the COVID window for all these guys now, and Turtle played, 2 years at Georgia State, 1 year at SMU, and then he's at Auburn now, so that should be a wrap for him. Didn't play in JUCO and didn't play in the lower ranks. It also appears that Denver might not be able to come back next year due to some very subtle language in an NCAA ruling about eligibility for those guys. My man T Park jumping in with a super chat says LFG Turtle. We love it. Absolutely. Give him some applause for that one. Great play from Turtle. Ole Miss is going to be happy with Morrell hitting 2 free throws there. So they get it up to 16. It's a 17-16. It's a score I like in my football games, particularly when it involves Alabama. Chad with an incredibly difficult shot there, but he got fouled. Turtle was going to be there, I should say, for the backside rebound and jam. Slam bam. Colby, great question. Do you think Bruce is going to stay on top of Chad going forward? I better not touch that one, considering how mad some of the bunks got at me for merely asking BP about Chad the other day. Of note, BP was not mad about it. Some other people were, though. Boy, Simo was holding his hand like he broke it or something. Is he okay? Or is he just reading his palms? CJ likes the way Chad's been playing today. I do, too. He had a shot earlier. I didn't like the quality of it, but shoot, man, you play 25 minutes, you're going to make 1 or 2 errors. 18 points now for the Auburn Tigers after Chad goes 1 of 2 at the line. You know, there was a point there where Chad hit like 50 in a row, but he's been a little off that pace the second half of the season anyway. He's probably more like an 80% shooter, 85 now. But Auburn is playing some absolutely dogged man defense here. I mean, the shot quality for Ole Miss is atrocious. Now, here's what I was saying. Second chance opportunity here. It just means you have to defend longer, and it just wears you out. But they were able to force a miss there, and Miles Kelly gets the defensive rebound. I think that Auburn's undefeated when Miles Kelly gets at least 5 rebounds. I think that's true. They're going to call foul, absolutely. Denver Jones trying to drive down the lane, and Ole Miss kind of hip slid and then put the foot out, so can't do that. We're going to go to our third break. CJ says rare missed free throw from Chad, but here's the thing, Chad actually misses some now. You're right, there was a time when he didn't miss anything, but he's still a good free throw shooter, don't get me wrong. He is currently at 90%, which is great. I mean, that's really good, but he's, again, he hit 50 in a row early in the year, and now he's missed 12 total, so he's been off a little bit, but that certainly isn't the problem with this team. Not that I'm not trying to say there is a problem for the team. I'm just saying Chad's free throw shooting is fine. Let's get those hot, fresh stats up and out. I'm a USA member myself. I've been raising rates here lately, but I'm going to go ahead and assume it's for other reasons. Not because they're bad folks. I've had great experiences with them. They do not pay me for that. They've just been fair every time I deal with them. Let's get some stats up here. Some hot, fresh stats. Thank you again, T Park and Kanuman as well. 6 of 15 from the floor for the Auburn Tigers. 5 of 17 for Ole Miss. So neither one of these guys are lighting it up. 3-point shooting is about the same. Free throw shooting is about the same. The rebounding margin still +2 for Ole Miss, so I'm not upset about that really, considering where it's been. 4 assists and 2 turnovers for the Auburn Tigers. That's 4 assists on 6 buckets, so I'm fine there. 3 assists and 5 TOs for Ole Miss. I like that from an Auburn perspective. 1 block and 2 steals for the Auburn Tigers. 0 and 0 for Ole Miss. That's not something I really think is a big part of their game. Second chance opportunities have tightened a little bit just because Auburn was able to get that one out earlier in transition from Tahad. So now it's 6-2. Ole Miss's advantage on second chance points. And I'll say it again. I'll continue saying it the rest of this game. They can't win this game, Ole Miss, without second chance. A big advantage in second chance opportunities. Yeah, CJ, just saying he's not as automatic as he was. I mean, 90%. Look, man, we all remember when Auburn as a team was shooting below 70 back in the beginning of Pearl's days here, and then even going back to Barbie. We were like, good God, somebody get a free throw shooter. And when you got somebody now who's one of your main free throw shooters, and he's 90%. Nobody's got a problem with it. We're fussing over small things, but he ain't quite 100% anymore. Ephesians says, hot and fresh. Yes, sir. And Anthony R., yes, that's a great observation. Says Denver is moving good. Remember, he was out a little bit of time with like a bruise to his ankle or lower leg. Showing footage of Cooper Flag. Duke is playing North Carolina today, and it sounds like they're going to be without Cooper Flag. Probably still have enough to beat UNC without. Oh, he's in a wheelchair for that one. I didn't see that. Probably still have enough, Duke does, to beat North Carolina even without Cooper Flag. But I'll certainly be pulling for North Carolina. I don't like any of those teams. Duke, UNC, Louisville are 3 of my 5 least favorite teams anywhere. And then Clemson I don't like very much either. CJ says, and of course they show Cooper. Of course. ESPN is absolutely eat up with Duke. And if North Carolina is good, they do the same thing with North Carolina. But North Carolina is like just barely okay this year, and so you don't hear as much about UNC, but Duke, God, they love Duke. It's been like this since the 80s, my man. Well, late 80s. I don't even know if it's late 80s. This is back when Billis was playing and all Abdul Nabi and stuff. They love those guys. Decent shot from Auburn. Didn't get a second chance opportunity, and thought the Ole Miss was going to throw the ball away there. Ephesians says, is that like Paul Pierce in the wheelchair, my man? I met Paul Pierce one time. Just kind of shook his hand and said, word. I don't really love him, so I didn't lie about it. It was in line with my job. Like I was in a hotel or something. Oh, Janai on the block. Now, look, they've got somebody supporting near the rim there. That's an interesting pass from Janai. I mean, it was effective. Janai snatched that ball back, gets it out. Oh, nice runner. Floater from Miles Kelly. That is really nice, man.
Drop.
A lot like Oweh's shot from last night to beat Oklahoma, where he was blazing to the bucket, but then has played enough basketball to know you got to slow down as you approach, and then you kind of finesse that ball in, because if you go as hard with the shot as you are with your legs, that ball go flying. Look at the adjustment here that he does with the speed. That is just a veteran play, man. Grind says Cooper rolled his ankle really bad. It might take a week and a half at least. I mean, you think about it, it looked similar to what Janai did, right? And Janai took, I don't know, a month? I mean, he was back playing before that, but he was hobbled, without a doubt. Damon is giving Chaney some commendation on the way he's playing inside defensively so far. Got Sir Turtle out there. Just got a deflection on that. Take it to the hole, Big Daddy. Oh, he telegraphed the shot. But he's going to go to the line anyway. I like how Davis is trying to adjudicate this with Padula. I'm like, dude, Padula's on your team, man. He's gonna agree with you. All right, so it wasn't a tip from Turtle, but he was just causing problems. He was just causing having difficulty for the inbounder to see the ball. Ephesians asks, will they keep Dillon out into the second half? My guess is yes on that, particularly if Chaney's going to be this effective inside. So I would say yes. Unless there's a reason. Remember, Chaney has his own foul problem, so I think you would protect Chaney more than you would Dillon. Man, I was just about to say that Janai was really in his bag with some of these passes, but just got one picked off. Kind of telegraphed it a little bit. Ole Miss still not hitting shiz from long range right now. Cold as ice. They're not a great three-point shooting team anyway, but I really, really like that drive from Denver right there. To recognize the mismatch, right? Defensively, he was on an oath. And he knows he can zip out and zip away. And so what he did is he drove the guy to his left and then just kind of popped back gently and took a shot from about 10 feet. That guy can't close the space like that. He doesn't have that kind of agility. And so Denver just took perfect advantage of Tahad. Oh, I love that drive. Just couldn't quite get it to go down. It's a very ballsy drive. I like that. That's going that way, Big Daddy. Oh. It really was a nice play, CJ. I like that one. Grind likes Chaney on Dia better. Spicy P is just beside himself over some of these non-calls in this game so far. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think I've seen a couple that I was surprised by. I remember I definitely saw one I thought was going to be a call against Auburn that they didn't call. Boy, that inbounds pass was very beta, which is exactly what Pearl likes to see. Boy, nice drive there by Ole Miss number 5. Did a good job. Todd's played a bunch of minutes this half. Key minutes. Seems like when he's in there, they're popping better. Oh, I thought for sure Miles was going to be able to hit that one. Janai with a great offensive rebound gets hit going back in. And we're under the 4 minute again. So, yeah, Spicy P says this score is wild. It's been super grindy. And the shot selection in general has not, I mean, the quality of the shooting is shot select. Let me rephrase. I'm thinking too fast. The quality of the shots has not been very good for either team. I do think it's been better for Auburn. I would probably give the quality of Auburn's general shooting maybe a 6 out of 10. At Ole Miss's shot quality is probably more like a 3 out of 10. Ole Miss having a hard time getting clear, clean looks. It's actually 18-22. I've missed a bucket somewhere along the way, so my apologies to Ole Miss on that one. I'm working on getting this the latest hot, fresh stats together. Oh, I already see a number I like right here. All right, fresh stats coming over right now. Rebounding has evened 14-all now. I like to see that a lot. Second chance opportunities still a +6 for Ole Miss, which I don't like. But I do like that rebounding is now even. Auburn's done a much better job on the offensive boards the last 5 minutes or so. Still not shooting super well, but that's okay. You don't have to shoot well to beat Ole Miss, I don't think. You just got to handle your business on the rebounding and handle your business with the ball handling. I think that'll get it. They're shooting 6 of 22 right now, 27%. The Auburn Tigers are 8 of 21. That's 38%. Neither team shooting well from 3. Neither team really having a big day at the free throw line from a numbers perspective. Even rebounding, which I think is a good thing for Auburn. 3 assists and 6 turnovers for Ole Miss. Auburn loves to see that. 4 assists and 3 turnovers for Auburn. 3 turnovers is fine. 4 assists, you'd maybe like to see it a little bit higher, but it is what it is. Not super worried about that. 1 block and 3 steals for Auburn, 1 and 1 for Ole Miss. So they had 1 and 1 this past segment because they were zeros last time. Points per possession for Auburn is still under 1, and Ole Miss is still under 0.7. So it's honestly, I think BP would be fine with this, assuming that the defensive intensity remains where it is right now and then the shooting picks up a little bit. I think Auburn's really just a couple 3 buckets away from getting themselves a nice 10, 15-point lead and just coasting this bitch out. I love the way they've played defense here lately. When I say lately, I mean the last, it's probably been 10 minutes now. Stoop Up says a nice 6-0, 8-0 run would be very nice right about now. It's the key to what Auburn does, right? They usually just kind of get into a defensive rhythm where they're just locking people down and then they make that push, right? That kind of changes the game permanently in favor of Auburn. Haven't seen that as much in the last few games, but again, it was tough playing at Texas A&M. They were serious about winning that game at their own place after a 4-game losing streak, and the Alabama game was just, I don't know what to tell you. It was a heavyweight slugfest, and Mark Sears took advantage of a key mistake in a key moment. Feel like a stranger jumps in again. Says clearly we played better in second quarter, which you're actually, it should be in quarters. It should be in quarters, so I'm completely on board with what you're saying there. But I still feel the pace and flow favors Mississippi better than either previous game. I mean, no Ole Miss players really had much of an effect scoring-wise in this game. Davis has 5, but I haven't really noticed him that much on the scoring end. 4 rebounds, he's doing work there, but it's just we keep looking at this team like the Auburn team. I don't know, like I go into every game thinking, okay, well, Janai's probably the best player on the court, and Chaney's probably the 3rd best player on the court, and Dillon's probably the 5th best player on the court. So, like, they should be getting the ball inside and just grinding people down to a stump, and that's really not how it ends up going, is it? Like, BP doesn't really teach that. That's not what he does. BP likes free-flowing, typically, fast breaky, deflection, fast break, pressure. Here they go. They're pressuring the shit out of this inbounds right here and force them to make some adjustments on that on the fly. But here's the benefit of it. So now they're going to set up their half court, Ole Miss is, with 23 seconds on the shot clock. So that's less, super intensity half court defense. Good awareness there by to Hod to break off of a double team that he realized was not going to be helpful and get back on his guy. Another, what I would consider to be a poor quality shot from Ole Miss that barely hits rim. I don't like the shot from Zahad, but I like it when it goes in. Ole Miss just called a timeout. They're this is a unsustainable rate of loss for them right now. Their offense is just absolutely fucked at the moment. I mean, they're just not getting anything, man. And there'll be people who will say, well, they're just missing their shots. Guys, the shot quality for Ole Miss right now is in the basement of the Alamo. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. And Auburn's shot quality is pretty good right now. And this is what I expect the game to. It's like how I expect it to go, honestly. Damon says Turtle is definitely getting some burn in this game so far. He's played great. I mean, I know we're like 30 games into the season, and I keep telling you guys I love Turtle. I mean, he's a good player. He just doesn't play that much because they've got other guys. I mean, Chaney's better than he is, but when he has an opportunity to go in there, he can definitely make a difference. By the way, Ole Miss has hit one of its last 8 shots, which means they ain't scoring very much. Love the way Auburn's been playing defense here. And they're pressuring on the inbound again. I like this. Boy, Simo had a chance there, I think. He just kind of had his body was kind of leaning back when it could have been leaning forward, and he would have had that steal. Interesting choice for Auburn to stay with that full court press. I think they kind of like the way that Ole Miss got a little rushed. Oh, Chaney. Go to the hole, Big Daddy. Ah! What in the world was that call, bro? What had happened? First of all, amazing play by Chaney to tap that ball out. Super, super good. And then he gets around the guy, and then he's going to dunk on him like Vince Carter style. Yes, Ephesians, thank you. I always refer to him as Sir Turtle. I don't know why. I love the name. Sir Turtle. That's not a foul. Don't call it a foul, dude. Don't call it a foul. They call it a foul. It's bullshit. Or are they just going to say out of bounds? They're going to call Sir Turtle with a foul on that one. I thought he just picked up that roll there, and he was just holding his ground. He's a big boy. If Murray slams into the Sir Turtle, it's going to be a rough go of it. Terrence, I don't know, man. I don't know. Spicy P is confused as I am about the Chaney. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that one. I think Janai's even like, bro, what happened there? I thought that was going to be just a defamation dunk right there, where somebody wasn't coming back from that, and then I don't know, just didn't happen. I don't know. 27-20 is where we're at. About 2.5 to go. First half. Has not been the pace that I thought it would be at, but it's been approximately, Auburn's about 20% better in this game to Hod from a long way out. They're going to call a foul on 3 right there because he's hooking Chaney. Sorry, my eyesight's bad. I guess it was 7. Yeah, it was 7. Look at him just hooking him, bro. That back arm is just trying to reach around on his chest there. He can't do that, bro. Sam H. jumping in with a super chat. My man says, brain drain dues. War damn eagle. Let's give him an applause for that. Appreciate you, Sam. Sam been here with us a long time. One of our channel legends. Glad to have you here, bro, on this weekday edition of the Brain Drain. I know it's not easy necessarily for you guys to get here on a weekday daytime, but I appreciate y'all hanging out with me and chatting it up here, cutting it up on the Brain Drain. Best chat in the game. Best chat in the game. Smart people. Know their hoops. That's what you love to see. Although some of you guys are hutters too, but you can also do basketball. I like it when you can go AC/DC. Some of the people in the bunker, I don't think they can get that. Boy, I thought Ole Miss had a really nice shot there. But ultimately, at the end, he was going to try to do one behind his back, I guess, shot. Auburn was ready for that. Billis. I feel like a stranger. Every time I see the word Billis, I hear the name Billis, I'm reminded of when Cliff used to talk about him all the time. It's like, Billis, you gave me hell at Duke, Billis. Back when Cliff was at Clemson. Oh, Janai with another chance for a second putback and just didn't quite get it in there. Padula's going to get a freebie out of that. Just unlucky. That's all I can say about that one. Sometimes the ball just, goes your way. And for Ole Miss, that's what happened there. Chad damn near got his hand on that. Flying through the air like Superman trying to get that bad boy, but it instead lands on the cheerleader's lap. But I don't think he's upset about it. I mean, he doesn't want to hurt any of those lovely ladies, but I don't think he minds necessarily hanging out with them. I don't love that shot from Chad. It's kind of a cul-de-sac, right? He got himself into a bad spot. He's got to pass out. He doesn't like passing out. Rob Beast is really wanting to see more minutes for Kai now that lessons have been learned. The issue there is, obviously they love Chad, and unless he's in foul trouble, they don't have a big need for a backup wing, honestly. And there's Wes Flanagan, my man, one of my favorite guys to cover at Auburn. Then they go to Semo because they trust Semo so much, and I know we all kind of look at Semo and go, really? Because he doesn't necessarily give you a lot, particularly on the scoring end, but he gives you a lot of hustle and effort on the defensive end. And that's where Kai is a big minus right now. I think Kai can definitely help you scoring-wise. And he's a tremendous athlete, but defensively, he's not quite where you want him to be. And I think for BP, he doesn't like the trade-off there. Boy, he's wide open. Missed the shot for Ole Miss, number 5. All right, so this will not be the last possession, but Auburn doesn't have to. We're just going to wind it down. Be about 4-second differential here. Auburn +5 in this game right now. I feel like Auburn should be up 10 or more based on just kind of how the game has gone, but it is what it is. By the way, Semo's wide open in the corner. Ole Miss knows what me and you know, that he ain't going to shoot that and score. Denver with a really nice drive. Changed speeds while he was coming down the lane. Really, really pretty finish. Semo just kicked his damn shoe off. He's been having trouble with that right shoe for the last 10 minutes. He better come out with a different pair of sneakers. There's J.P. Pegues getting some TV time. Cheering on Chaney. Always a positive guy, always encouraging his teammates. 29-22 is where we're at. As Jess interviews Coach Bruce Pearl. Bego says somebody needs to tape Moore's shoes on. Oh, man. Hey, I like that last possession there, okay? Denver gets himself a nice little spot there, slows down in the lane, backs up, little splash city from about 8, 9, 10 feet. And then you just don't leave enough time on the clock for Ole Miss to really get anything organized, and they don't score. So that's just a huge plus to finish out the half with a bucket and really don't give Ole Miss a chance to retort. Really like that. CJ says, I'll take it. I'll be back for the second half. Going to grab some lunch. A late lunch, at least in my world, it would be late. Not for you necessarily. But good stuff there. Let's get some hot, fresh stats for that halftime. Working on those stats right now. The hottest and the freshest, of course, only for you guys. I wouldn't stand for stale. I really wouldn't. Makes me sick to my stomach. Missed that one a little bit. All right, there's your halftime stats. So Auburn shoots 10 of 28 from the floor. It's 36%, obviously, off their usual percentage, I would say. Ole Miss, 7 of 26, 27% for Ole Miss. Teams are about even from 3. Teams are about even from the line. Auburn ends up being +2 in rebounding. That's a definite turnaround from the way it was. They were down 3 or 4 at some point in the middle of the half there. Let's see. Auburn's ball control, 4 assists and 4 turnovers. Not great, but Ole Miss is worse. 4 assists and 7 turnovers for the Ole Miss Tigers. The Ole Miss Rebels. I think that I don't think Chris Beard is going to be going into halftime like angry necessarily, because I think his team is competing, and he's going to probably say we need to up our shot quality and get some shots in the bucket. But I think BP is going to be madder. Don Properdicken, who was a big part of the show last night on the Bourbon Blend, jumps in and says, "Man, I am busy, but I am draining." My man, coming all the way from Maastricht, Holland. One of the all-time greats here on the chat, and a huge fan of camel foot rotisserie. Finds it to be a delicious, quick thing that he can get in the air fryer. Something that I hadn't even known about until a couple weeks ago. We talked about it on the Bourbon Blend. Yes, you can eat camel, and if done properly, it's actually delicious. I'm told. Maybe a little hot sauce on there. A little bit of seasoned salt. Spicy Pieces, they have 22 points. LOL, that is wild. It really kind of is, man. Auburn's defense, I'm telling you, Ole Miss had some good shots there early in the game. I'm talking like first 5 possessions, maybe 7 possessions or something like that. And from that point forward, the shot quality went into the absolute toilet. They couldn't get hardly anything. And Auburn just was sticking with them, fighting through screens and being physical with them, which you don't necessarily think of Auburn as being a physical team, but they were definitely rising to the challenge here. And I think the fact that they have at least a lead in rebounding is the first time we've seen that in probably a week and a half. So that's a plus. Can you do that? I think you can. Why not? Spicy Pieces, Jay Williams just said this is exactly where Ole Miss wants this game to be. I mean, sort of. I mean, they won it slower, right? But they can't win this game without second chance opportunities. They're not. They just don't have the shooting to do it. And second chance, they had a 6-0 lead at one point in that stat. Now it's 8-4, and that's just not enough of a divide there to give them an advantage in this game. And Auburn also is not shooting the ball particularly well. I mean, 36%, and I think their quality of shots has been pretty good, so that's a low number. I think that's going to rise. I think Auburn's going to end up scoring, 70 points in this game. Maybe 75. And that's a long way for Ole Miss to go, particularly a team like Ole Miss. It's not necessarily known for its scoring. They're kind of a balanced team, but I don't think of them as a good shooting team necessarily at all. So let's see. T-Roy says, had some tuna for lunch today because of Lent. If tuna's done right, it is absolutely slaps. Some tuna for lunch today because of Lent, but I was really craving a ham and cheese today. Ham and cheese. I know exactly where he's coming from on that one. We talked about that on the show last night. In fact, I think I can reclaim that photograph that my daughter actually added that to the show last night. Let me go ahead and pull this over, T-Roy, guys. This is the ham and cheese sandwich that we were talking about last night. It just doesn't look as great, maybe, as some that we've eaten before. So, T-Roy was faced with a choice, right? He was going to have, that ham and cheese, or he was going to have tuna, and he just thought maybe the tuna was a little fresher. It looks uninspired, is how I would describe that ham and cheese right there. But draw your own conclusions. Whatever you guys are into, it's fine. Ravin says no ham and cheese. I think Ravin, who was on the show last night, knows where we're headed with that. And Runner 24 as well. N says Miles Kelly has been in a shooting slump lately. We are going to need him to win some big games. Hopefully his confidence is still high. Yeah, he had a 30-pointer. Was it at Kentucky? I can't remember which game it was. He had a 30-pointer recently, but in general, no, he hasn't been quite where you would want to see him lately. Let's take a look at some of his performances here. In the Alabama game, he was 5 of 10. with 13 points. In the Texas A&M game, he was 1 of 8. Kentucky game, yes, 9 of 14 from 3. So he was 10 of 17 at Kentucky, 30 points. Had 13 against Ole Miss at Nev, and then 11 points against the hated Georgia Bulldogs. So he's been a guy that kind of oscillates between like 8 points and 20 points. You'd like to see a little bit more from him. Here we go. We're going to show more Cooper Flagg, guys. Is it the next game on TV? No, it's tonight. But we got to let Jay Williams talk about his alma mater. AP, great point, though. He says Kelly's still playing good D, even though he's not shooting great. He does. He gives you hell on defense most of the time. In fact, maybe all the time. And interestingly, when he got here, they were concerned about his defense a little bit. They also felt like he was the kind of guy that could take coaching well. Miles is he's a mild-mannered dude. He takes coaching well. You tell him to do something, and he wants to get better at it. He's a pleasure to be around, and he's a good player. I just wish he could finish a little bit better in traffic. I think that would make him. I think it would add his confidence. I think he would shoot a little bit better if he could just finish some of these drives. Mitch JPAU says, imagine if Janai had half of Flagg's coverage. I know, man. I know. And nobody on this planet hates Duke more than me. And I'm so familiar with their, like, media misinformation, like, industrial complex. I mean, it's just been going on for decades. And they just had this love affair with Krzyzewski, who is a turd. Although, to be fair, he did go to West Point, so I'm not going to hate on him for that. And he coached at West Point, too. But he's a turd. And they act like he's some great guy. He's a freaking turd, man. Anonymous says, Jay Will is awful. Talking about that middle analyst right there, Jay. Formerly known as Jason Williams. Now goes by Jay Williams. Point guard at Duke back in the day. A terrific player in college. I hate him, but, for obvious reasons. But he ended up going to play for the Bulls, and everybody was really excited about his career. And then he got in a motorcycle accident, and I just don't think he ever recovered from that. The old hat guys like me and D Lucky know that story, but some of you youngs might not know that. Anthony R says, or half of Flagg's glazing. You're so right, dude. I do wish, and this maybe would help a little bit if it were true. Janai is such a low key guy. He's not a lot of fun to interview, and I'm not complaining at all. I appreciate the time that he breaks off for us, but he's just kind of a boring guy to talk to. And so if he was like really interesting interview and he had a lot of interesting things going on with him, like let's say he was into like importing macadamia nuts and reselling them on campus for a profit or some shit like that, like I bet he would get a lot more coverage. And it doesn't happen. And I mean, I'm an Auburn reporter, and I like Janai a lot, and like he's probably my 8th choice on which guys I'd want to interview on the team. I mean, I love talking to Miles Kelly. I love talking to Chaney. Love talking to Denver. He's always in a great mood. Some of the walk-ons, I mean, like Presley's great. Dylan's obviously amazing. I don't really understand the whole March of the Empire thing, but I mean, he's having fun. I'm all for it. Small Time Republic says, if you're a Duke point guard, don't ride a motorcycle. Bobby Hurley, he got injured in a car accident, right? I don't think he was on a motorcycle, but you might be talking about somebody else. I don't know. AP says, I remember when Jay Williams came to Beard Eves to call a game, and he was pretty nice. He seems to have turned into a soft turd. He's just a dookie, man. That's all. And Terrence says, hey, did you guys know the Duke's playing UNC tonight? No, ESPN hasn't mentioned it. I know Auburn's playing. I know the number 1 team in the country is playing right now, but let's just talk about Duke. I guess that's why I'd prefer this to be on the SEC network, because we don't have to worry about that as much, but they're having to appease the market makers at ESPN. Let's see. Brandon says, TP seems special. Do you see him having a decent NBA career? It's an interesting question, and one I hadn't necessarily thought of. Just because I don't think he's quite there yet. If you're going to be that size and play, he's going to have to play point. Fran McCaffrey got fired. I saw he got 2 technicals in the game yesterday and got kicked out of the game, and he was just being like, you couldn't really tell what he was saying, but he was obviously being a huge dick yesterday, and I was like, this guy needs to go, man. Look at the pooch, man. What a good dog. That's awesome. One of the great things about being a subscriber to NBA season ticket, is that what they call it for basketball? Whatever. I watch all the Oklahoma City games. And one of the great things about getting that is that you get to watch all the stuff. Like, they don't go to like network breaks when there's breaks in play. You just see whatever they're doing in the arena. And so you get to watch all the, if Red Panda's there, she's doing her thing. And if they've got like dogs doing Frisbee catches and stuff, you get to watch all that stuff. Love it, man. It's worth the price of admission right there. Yes, I remember that now, D. Lucky, mentioning that Jay Williams was hurt in a motorcycle accident. But Hurley, this is not Danny Hurley, the dickhead at UConn. This is Bobby Hurley, who's at Arizona State. Hurley was in his truck and almost died, yeah. It was like a rainy night, and he got stuck in a culvert, crashed into a culvert. That was a big, big story at the time. Ephesians says, JG, what's the adjustments here at the half? Well, I don't think you need to make any on the defensive end. I think Auburn's defense has been absolutely insane. Offensively, I think you need to work a little bit more on passing tempo and accentuate that a little bit. And maybe I would like to see a little more DHO action and force Ole Miss with all that switching to have to really make some quick cuts left and right. And I don't think they can stay. Like, for instance, I think some DHO actions that feature or work on getting Miles out into open space. I know that he's not a great finisher, but let's just give him an opportunity. And I think his quickness on those rolls, I think he can beat 4 of the 5 guys that would be charged with defending him. And if you keep switching, eventually you're going to get a matchup you like. And I think he can be a chance for Auburn to unlock some points in the second half. So just kind of like side screen DHO type stuff, I would like to see it. Didn't see as much of that in the first half. Saw more traditional screen moves, and I felt like Ole Miss was doing a pretty good job of getting in front of the ball. I am always an advocate of driving the ball more. And I say that because I think Tahad is gifted at that, and I also think Miles is gifted at that. Interestingly, that last possession of the first half was Denver driving, and it was a delicious shot, and it went down for 2. So that was a success for sure, but I would like to see more driving. I think that gets opportunities there for Dylan, for Janai, for Chaney. I think it helps them a little bit because their spacing is so good. They know exactly where to go, particularly Janai. Dish it to him and let him get the ball in the bucket. I'd like to see more driving. But I every time I say that, they end up just taking jump shots from 23, and I think that's kind of Auburn's DNA at this point. Spicy Pieces, LOL, love this commercial hyping up an old piss education. I was surprised when my daughter was looking at Ole Miss by how good I thought it was. I thought we had a great visit over there. We actually went on 2 visits, but we had the one really long one, and I was impressed with it. And I think at the end of the day, it was her second choice was Ole Miss. She never really considered Auburn because they just weren't given the money that other people were. At least for her, they weren't. And she would have been able to go to Ole Miss with very minimal expense because they do stuff for the kids from in-state Alabama. And then she ended up going to South Alabama, and she didn't pay anything except for apartment. Her experience at South Alabama was terrific. A lot of her friends went to Auburn, and almost all of them had great experiences here. So, I mean, Auburn's come a long way, I think. Not to say that it was bad when we were all in school. I'm just saying I think Auburn's front line now. It's odd to think that our state is actually, I don't think of Alabama as being a great education area, a haven per se, but Auburn stepped up, I think, particularly with like the campus and some of their Auburn's come a long way in the time I've been here since the late 90s. League Pass, thank you. I called it Sunday Ticket or whatever. NBA League Pass, which I get every year to watch the Thunder games. When they're playing Portland or something, and it's not going to be on TV. I just watch it on there. Good stuff there. Pretty good. Raven says, I love that you can hear your hometown guys call the games. Michael Cage is my guy, who I happen to just really like when he was in the NBA back when I was a kid. He used to play with the Supersonics, and he was like this, like Dennis Rodman before. Well, he wasn't that dickhead, but he was just like kind of a rebounder, the way Dennis Rodman was. And I just loved the toughness he had, man. Michael Cage. Badass. Terrence says, can we stop talking about Auburn and focus more on Duke? My man. That guy must watch ESPN. All right, second half starts off with the Auburn Tigers in possession. Mostly the same lineup as the first half, except you've got Chad Baker in there for Semo. And the first bucket goes to the Auburn Tigers. To Surgeon I. Broom. Boy, Miles Kelly with 2 bad whiffs defensively. BP loves to talk about be the second guy off the floor. And back-to-back shot fakes just sucked him in, man. Jeez. I mean, you like the effort. His head's in the game, but we haven't seen any DHO action yet, anyway. I don't know, Janai. Janai was lobbying for a foul there. I think it was just a late. He saw Dylan late and tried to zip a pass in there, and I think it was too late. Padula with a nice little fall away there. A little before I fall away, a la Gem Blossoms. 31-26. Let's see. Terrence says, I was a Northerner that came down. I chose Auburn over Alabama without any connections to either institution. I chose Auburn because it was harder to get into at the time. It is still, right? I don't think a Bammer is like some hard place to get into. But I don't know specifically because I told Maddie and my daughter, I was like, you're not going to Alabama. I don't give a shit. There's just no situation where you're going to Alabama. I don't care what they give. So she didn't even apply. So I can't speak to that. How far north, though, bro? We talking like Upper Peninsula, Michigan, or are we talking like St. Louis? Or oh! I'm not sure what Dylan was trying to do there. Ole Miss has come out here bringing a lot of energy. And the shot quality that we were mocking late in the second half, the quality's been good for Ole Miss. Great spacing by Ole Miss on that break right there. I guess it's a foul on Chad, actually. And then Dylan kind of swatted the ball into the net, but it was going anyway. They did miss their free throw. 28-31. Auburn's still leading, but need to step up and fight against Ole Miss's upped energy here. Chad with a nice drive. He had to step ahead of that guy the whole way across. Took advantage of that. Yeah, Brandon J says, Steph the F up. Ready to see Auburn match Ole Miss's energy coming out of halftime here. There you go. Now, that's what I'm talking about. There you go, Miles. Well, he tapped that ball from inside the rim there, I think. Yeah. Oh, Padula's wanting to see that reviewed. You don't get a review on that, homie. D-Lucky says, less of the Dylan offensive package, please. Yeah, if you're relying on him as your scorer, that's not good. He can be good as a tip-in guy. And I feel like his positioning under the basket can be good. But, yeah, he's not what you want to do there. Okay, I don't love that shot quality from Ole Miss. I mean, I kind of do, but you know what I mean. As a basketball enthusiast. Let's see. Daniel says, if Dylan doesn't dribble the rest of the season, I'll be happy. Man, I got a quote about this. Terrence is talking about Dylan. Unless it's a dunk, don't try to shoot the ball because even if you get fouled, you might as well be shooting with your feet. I want to read a quote to you. It's going to take me a second to get it, but it's from one of my heroes, John Chaney. I have it in my email here. He's talking about a guy named Ramon Rivas who used to play for them. I'll tell you at the break here. We got a game going. It's 30-36. There was a splash I missed, and I'm sorry. I was looking for that daggone quote. You guys would have loved it. We got a game going, Jay. What are we doing, bro? I'm going to give a backup splash there. Oh, we just got a boom shaka.
Boom shakalaka!
Janai on an alley. Boy, quick little surge there. Ole Miss looked like they were making up ground, and then bang, bang. Auburn gets 5 in a hurry. It's a long way from the basket for Dylan to be out there. Oh, golly. Great defense from Dylan. I want to see Miles finish this daggone. Oh, Padula was asking for a replay on that. For what? Dick. I wonder what it's like to be able to dunk like that. It's never happened to me in my life. Jay Robertson here with us now. One of our Ole Miss friends who comes in peace, always has, been very friendly for a long time. Just keeping an eye on the ball game. Glad to have you here, my guy. Auburn going for the season sweep over the Ole Miss Rebels here. We're going to go to our first timeout. We're joking about Dylan. John Chaney said, I'm quoting John Chaney here. He's like one of my all-time favorite coaches. He says, we're playing Rhode Island. I say timeout. We're leading by 6 with a few minutes to play. And I say, get the ball to Timmy. Well, the other team knows. They play Timmy and they play Nate. And here's Ramon Rivas standing there wide open underneath the basket. They give him the ball, and he throws it up against the backboard 5 times and gets 5 offensive rebounds. So I say, time the fuck out. Come over here. I don't want you to give the ball to anybody. I'd rather you shoot a bad shot or Timmy shoot a bad shot than give it to Ramon. So he goes back out there, and he's crying. So help me God, Nate was crying. And he sees Timmy's covered and he's covered, but here's that shit-eating grin on Ramon Rivas, and he gives it to him. And before he could shoot it, I say, time out. I bring him over to the huddle. Ramon is trying to get into the huddle, and I'm standing like this to keep him out of the fucking huddle, like backing him out, you know. What did I tell you? Don't you MF and give him the ball. Don't you do it. The coach is literally backing the player out of the team huddle because he just doesn't even want him to hear what the play is. Just stay away. I'm telling you, man, John Chaney's the greatest there ever was. No, Small Time Republic says Chaney was not a Calipari fan. You are damn right about that. Those two, well, no. No. I'm going to continue that story. He said, Rivas came up to him and said, Coachy, what do you want me to do? He said, come here. Don't you help me any MF and more. Sit the F down. There's a reason why you're open. You know what I'm saying? All right, let me get these hot, fresh stats, guys. I mean, when I have a chance to talk about John Chaney, I never pass on it. Got to meet him twice here. My old friend Ben Jobe, who lived here in town, absolute coaching legend, NBA scouting legend, was real good friends with Chaney, and he knew I was looking to meet him, and so when he came into town to meet with Ben, Ben was like, I got a guy you need to meet. Good stuff, man. Love John Chaney, and he is very, very missed. I'm so glad I got to meet that hero of mine. Yes, another quote, Terrence says, I'll kill you, Calipari. Can you imagine Chaney like literally keeping his 6'8", 9" forward out of the huddle? Just saying, you stay behind me. Don't get in this huddle. He also said in that same interview that a blind man ain't got no business at a circus, and that's what I've got, 3 blind mice. All right, here's our stats. I'm sorry, guys. I'm back to the game here. Auburn 14 of 32, 4 of 4 this half, so that's a little bit of an improvement there. Ole Miss 4 of 5 this half, so they're very stoked about that. Auburn's extended its rebounding lead. It's +4 now. 8 assists on 14 field goals. I'm happy with that. 6 turnovers is more or less on par if they can go next couple segments without a turnover. Ole Miss has 5 assists and 8 turnovers so far. And in general, they're kind of shooting similarly. It's weird. They both shot poorly in the first half. Now they're both shooting great in the second half, so it's interesting. Second chance opportunities. I've said from the very beginning that that Ole Miss can't win this game without second chance points. They need to have a big advantage there. Right now it's 8-4. And that may help explain why Ole Miss is not leading this game. I don't think they can just straight up beat Auburn like that. They're going to have to get tip-ins and tip slams and stickbacks and stuff like that. They haven't been able to get enough here lately. No more dribbling from Dylan. What in the fuck was that? What is that? Oh, my God. That. Can't do that. Guys, what are we doing? Did you see? I know. Everybody here is like, Dylan, please don't dribble. Spicy P just says, LOL Dylan, my dude. Please don't do that again. Whatever you do, don't ever do that again. That's got to be on, oh my goodness gracious. They stuffed another 3, and then Ole Miss went over there and hit another 3 on a second chance opportunity. God dang it. Don't you ever do that again. Ambitious Engineer says, once again, why do we give Dylan the ball? If he's in a situation where he dribbles, that's where it gets. Oh, Chad. Oof. Oh, man. Went deep in his bag for that one. That was nice. A little hot sauce to get open for that shot and then splashed it. Padula's not getting anywhere right now with Miles on his ass. That's a nice shot right there from Ole Miss. Little mid-ranger. Brandon J just says, that's my dog. Loves to see Chad doing some of that. Yeah, let your game do the talking, right? Instead of the mouth. Love what Miles has been doing on Padula, but I don't love what Miles has been doing offensively. Missed another 3 right there. It's a pretty quality shot. Not a problem. Denver, he's in rhythm. Oh, he missed a rhythm shot. That don't happen that often. They're going to call Chad with a foul there. He's just getting a little enthusiastic about trying to get that rebound. He knows how important that's going to be. Jay Robertson notes that Padula was shooting yesterday. His shooting against Arkansas was not super great. Did hit a very big one there to break the 80-80 tie, though, but in general did not have a great shooting day at all. Cheddar bacon lasagna. I mean, I don't know that Dylan thinks about it that way. I mean, even that quote I was giving you about John Chaney, Ramon Rivas was still trying to get the ball. I mean, they're basketball players. You tell a kid, don't even try to score. Just get rebounds. We've been talking about this on the rundown for a month. It would be amazing if that's all that Dylan would do is just try to be Dennis Rodman and get 10 or 15 rebounds a game, right? I think he would be a lot more useful to the ball club, but that's just not who he is. Oh, Janai. Did you see how he made himself small on that spin and was able to elude the 2 defenders by making himself small? You don't say that very often about Janai Broom, but that's a very clever spin move there. Jay Robinson talking about Padula yesterday. He was clutch, but if he had made a few more before that, it wouldn't have been needed. Ha. Interesting. I like that. Ole Miss gets itself another bucket. They've been fighting now. I don't really think that Ole Miss is a team that lacks spunk or fight. I think they just lack shooting. scoring. All right, let's see if Auburn can continue keeping the passing tempo going. I don't like the followaways from Janai. I do like stickbacks. Cheney, great rebound. Just can't get it back in the bucket. I'd love to know what the stats are on the fallaway jumpers. Hey, man, be nice. It's gonna be Ole Miss's ball. The stats on Janai's fallaway jumpers are not. There's no way they're good. That's got to be a 25% shot. Spicy, I know, dude. He's talking about. I mean, he used to never take fallaways, and now it's like his de facto shot if he's on the wing, right? Jay Robertson thinks Ole Miss has outperformed this season based on their talent. I'm not sure they have a bunch of guys, yeah, like you're saying, that would play at Auburn. I mean, Morrell definitely would. I think Brakefield probably would. I know he's not having a great game today, but I don't know about the rest of them. Oh, Miles Kelly. That was a nice move right there.
Drop.
It's a nice little move. So his three-point shooting's been kind of ass today, but he's had a couple really nice, like mid-range, like type floaters, drive floaters. He's such an untapped resource. I really, really love Miles Kelly. But it just seems like when it's time to finish, he don't get it. Padula with just a terrible shot. That was a low-quality shot, and it looked low quality. Hey, man, credit Padula on that, but Miles just got outfoxed on that one. What is going on, bro? Just got the ball stripped away from him by Padula. All the damage that Miles has done to Padula, and he got it right back right there. Jeez. Oh, nice dish for Miles to Janai. All right, we're going to go to a media timeout there. Yeah, Terrence's fadeaways in the key are not that bad. Out of the key are horrible. Yeah, he loves it right there on the sideline, doesn't he? I mean, if he's 20 feet out, that's going to be a 3, right? But if he's like 3 to 8 feet out on the flanks, he's always going to do this fall away, which 2 months ago he didn't even attempt one, and now he does it all the time, and he don't hit it. It's frustrating. I mean, he's like intentionally tanking. Well, not. I don't mean he's like trying to lose the game. I'm just saying like this is a strategy that is making him less useful as a scorer. Maybe they're trying to do like with Chris Porter, a decade or decades ago, where he's trying to prove his value to the NBA by shooting threes when that's just not Chris's game at all, and it was weird. I found it very frustrating at the time in 1999 or 2000. All right, here's the latest hot, fresh stats, which you will not see on Neil McCrady's stream, Jay Robertson, if you were to go over there. I don't even know if they stream games, honestly. Don't really interact with him anymore. The Auburn Tigers shooting 64% this half. Ole Miss shooting 62%. So both teams doing a nice job of turning around their shooting fortunes. Rebounding situation, Auburn is now +6. Big change there. Ole Miss is up 4, I think, after 2 segments in the first half, and now Auburn's taking a pretty big lead on the rebounding front. 8 offensive rebounds for the Auburn Tigers. Second chance opportunities are still favoring Ole Miss, 11-4 right now, which is a little surprising considering those rebounding numbers. But, hey, give them credit for making the most of their opportunities. Auburn, 9 assists and 9 turnovers. I don't like that at all. The turnovers are starting to get a little high. Spicy P notes that that's 5 turnovers this half, which is almost the average for their game. And it's pretty rare that Auburn has double-digit turnovers. I mean, it sounds crazy to say that, but it's true. They just everybody's a good ball handler, but they're having trouble today. 6 assists on 15 buckets for the Ole Miss Rebels, 9 turnovers for them, and 5 steals for Ole Miss. They are not a team that gets a lot of steals, as I recall. Or maybe it's blocks. I can't remember which one it is. Anyway, yeah, Ephesians says Auburn needs to start getting more stickbacks, which I agree completely. There's no reason with the rebounding being good like it has been today for Auburn to be down this much in second chance opportunities. Auburn also has 2 points right now in the fast break. This is getting to be kind of their default setting now. They don't get a lot of fast break buckets these days. Points per possession are both perking up. Auburn's over 1 now. That's good. Ole Miss trying to push toward 0.9 now. What's up, Maine? Says, I don't know how this offense lets teams set their defense instead of moving without the ball lately. It's been a little different, hasn't it? Zakai Ziegler, we call him ZZ Top. Good player. Auburn could face him in the next game. Tennessee against Texas. Auburn, assuming if Auburn were to win this game, be taking on the winner of that tilt. Florida and Alabama on the other side of the bracket. Terrence says, handling the ball is not the problem. It's passing it to the wrong team, LOL. That's true. Ephesians says, Chaney and Dillon are what we're missing with those stickbacks, I believe. No confidence from either of them right now. Yeah, specifically on the attacking end, you're right. Just haven't seen it. All right, Janai's the line from the earlier foul before the break. He ties the Auburn record here for a double-double in a season with 18. Mike Mitchell. And he missed another free throw. 46-39. About halfway through the second half here. Both teams playing better on the attacking end than they did in the first half, but they're playing better at about an equal rate. So Auburn is maintaining its lead so far. I need to see a replay of that because from our angle, it looked to me like Chaney stopped dead cold and just stood there, and they called a foul on him. But it was the wrong angle. It could be a parallax problem. I need to see this from the side. They probably won't show us the replay now, fuckers. Let's see. Jay Robinson says, I like all the SEC rivals sites except for Mississippi State, which is non-existent. Yeah, I don't even know. We have one, but I don't think they really do anything with it. And there's been a lot of changeover in the SEC, honestly. I mean, I think me, Neil, and Roddy at UGA are the only ones left that are have been doing this for a while. Everybody else has turned over. Maybe Justin is still up at Kentucky. I don't know, honestly. I haven't paid much attention. And Gabriel left for 24/7 back during the fall, which is disheartening. Damn, Tahad. I don't know what happened there. He kind of made up his mind, I think, prematurely to dump that ball to Cardwell, even though I think he had a good opportunity to score himself. And just kind of got syntax error there in the middle. I don't know. N says, why have we started playing at much slower pace? At the beginning of the year, we were playing with a lot more pace, and it seemed to benefit us. You know, Auburn really has cut down their rotations. That's the truth. I mean, Auburn plays 7 guys. I mean, coming off the bench, you got Tahad and Chad and Chaney. That's your bench. I guess that's 8, Jay. If you could count, that'd be great. But now that Jakai plays almost never and Turtle plays almost never, there's just no depth. And J.P. Pegues, who in the beginning of the season was playing, he doesn't play at all now. He's played 3 or 4 or 5 minutes since conference season started. It's not a particularly deep team. I mean, 8 isn't bad. It's probably about average. But I feel like BP, when things are going perfectly, you know, he's got 10. GW asks, you all ready for the tornado outbreak tomorrow? Why do you sound like you're ready for one? I don't want that. I like my house. I like my trees. Foul. Padula shoving Tahad Pettiford down. No problem. No problem. Okay, let's go. Whatever it takes. 46-42. And there's a turnover from Auburn. Having a lot of trouble now. Foul on Tahad. Oh, man. 4-point game, LOL, is what Brandon says. Yeah. I still feel like Auburn's playing better than this. You know what I mean? I feel like this should be a 10-point game. Did my guy get hit in the nuts? Dude, that shit hurts. Damn, Tahad. He gave up a lot of ground on Padula there, didn't he? Ended up on his rear end. Ephesians says, I don't like this one bit right now. I don't either. Ole Miss is being very industrious, and they're making the most of their chances. Auburn is not. Auburn being, I think that was their 10th turnover of the game for Auburn. That's a lot for Auburn. They usually average probably 7 or 8. There's still a lot of time left in this game. Boy, that's a nice bucket for Ole Miss right there as well. 44 points now for the Rebels. Auburn doing a lot of dribbling. Dylan is literally standing under the basket with nobody there, and they didn't give him the ball. I mean, I know we're joking about shit, but Spicy P, bro. I don't know, man. I know Dylan's behind. Well, he hit him in the arm. He hit him in the arm. That's fair. Decatur Tiger says this lineup is awful. Well, Dylan's out now, so it's a little less awful, at least on the scoring end. Ole Miss really, one thing that's striking to me about Ole Miss right now is they are not letting the ball get to the wings on the attacking end because Auburn is trying to ice the shit out of them when they go wide, and they've been successful at it. Oh, Chaney with a kind of a panicky shot. I thought it was going to go, though. They're not allowing the ball to go wide and let Auburn trap them on the sides. If you watch the last couple of possessions, everything's a middle screen, and when they're off on the flank, they're driving downhill. They're not getting stuck out there. Boy, Chaney playing some fucking D right there, man. That was outstanding. Really nice D from Chaney. Got another break in the action here. Ephesians says Chaney doesn't have it at all. On the attacking end, you're right, but defensively, that was a possession right there, my man. But I know what you're saying. You're talking about specifically on the attacking end. I agree. It's been a minute, right? I mean, there were times a month ago, 3 weeks ago, where he looked like, okay, here he comes. You know, like here comes that. He's going to add that attacking part of his game, and it didn't happen. I think it was against the. I think it was Ole Miss at the Pavilion where he had his really good attacking game, and then now. We're right back to where he's, a 4-point a game night, even though he's getting, 6-7 shots. It's a source of frustration. He's very frustrated. Spicy Pieces, do you think we flip a switch next week? I'm starting to get concerned, honestly. I don't like the response in this game at all, or lack of response. We know what happened in the Alabama game. Didn't have the response in that game. In this game, I mean, I give Ole Miss credit, though. I mean, they've been playing some good basketball, but, You feel like Auburn should be able to put their foot down. Shooting numbers are now almost identical. 17 of 42 for Ole Miss, 17 of 41 for the Auburn Tigers. 3-point shooting's about identical. Free throw shooting's about identical. Auburn's still +5 in rebounding, so that's a good thing. And Ole Miss is having ball handling issues of their own, 6 assists and 10 turnovers. They're not happy about that. But you look at Auburn, 9 assists and 11 turnovers. Frustration, LOL, CJ. My mom was she had a degree in English, and so she was always very tough on me about diction and lexicon and using the right word in the right situation. And so when I would tell her that I was getting very frustrated, she would be like, "That's not a word." I'd be like, "Well, I said it." I was just kind of playing with her. Ephesians says, "Come on, Auburn. I burned a vacation day for this, LOL." Come on, man. I know there's other people in the chat that are feeling the exact same way, my man. Who else we got? Oh, Frankie Freeze is up in here. Our post game, our post game at the rim outside of Broome is atrocious. I feel like everyone else has players that can hit tough shots at the rim, and we don't. Used to, I mean, when Auburn was scoring 100 points a game, they were doing that. Yeah, my mom was she got a degree in English, and then she was a librarian after that. So she was like big on that. I mean, it's funny because my dad had more. Yeah, he's a physician. He's a very bright guy, but he didn't really care about that. He was from the country. Brandon J says Beard is a great coach. I happen to think he's an outstanding coach. I really believe that. And the only reason he's at Ole Miss, and I don't say that, I think Jay Robertson knows I have a lot of respect for Ole Miss as a institution, and a lot of the folks over there are great folks. But he wouldn't be at Ole Miss if he hadn't had a personal life fuck up. You know what I'm saying? And Ole Miss is the beneficiary. I mean, you could argue the same thing about Bruce Pearl. That wasn't personal life. It was recruiting life. But Auburn kind of got Pearl on an asterisk, and Ole Miss got Chris Beard on an asterisk. Both really good coaches there. Like, you really like to see Auburn being +5 on rebounding, but you also don't like to see Auburn behind on second chance opportunities. 11-6 right now. 11-4, excuse me. I'm going to the eye doctor next month. I'll get some new glasses. That's fair. That's a foul. Oh, great point, Jay Robertson, about Lane Kiffin. I hadn't even thought about football, but you're right. Lane Kiffin, yeah, he's kind of there on an asterisk. But they changed. Ole Miss football, in my opinion, has changed some. I mean, that's become a job that 10, 15 years ago I thought, whatever. It's a launching pad for a good coach or somewhere that an average coach hangs on, right? But I think Ole Miss has stepped up. And a lot of that's on Lane, and a lot of that is on some outstanding work that they've done over there from NIL perspective. I think they're kind of like the blueprint for a lot of schools to say, hey, man, you don't have to be a big-ass school. And not to say Ole Miss is small by any means, but you can make the most of things, and here's how Ole Miss did it, and I think it helped them a lot. It's a foul. It's a foul. I don't like it, but it's a foul. Nice play by Padula. That's a great finish, man. Come on, you got to give him credit for that. I'd like to see Miles Kelly finish like that. 46-all, guys. Ole Miss on an 11-3 run. We got 6:46 to go, and the Auburn Tigers are on the ropes here. Could be losing a third in a row if they don't get their head out of their ass. Simo. Oh, my goodness. Great rebound from Chaney. Now that's Denver. He's in rhythm. He's not even close. Hey, man, Auburn is fighting for rebounds. I'm going to give them that, which we don't necessarily see from them every game. That is not something that's been an Auburn strength of late. What a great finish from Padula. That is awesome. That's really good. Love to see Auburn fighting for those rebounds, though. Pocket Watch says those are very different asterisks. Yes, they are. BP hosting a cookout, and Chris Beard getting physical with somebody is a little different, but I guess I should just say they were both kind of on fire sale for different reasons, but they were. Frank G just says, what is this offense? Padula got a little aggressive there. Thought he could try that a little too much. Hit that Chaney. Hit that Chaney. That's my guy right there. Chaney with a wide open three. He's not a great three-point shooter, and Ole Miss knew that, but he was able to put that one through. That was nice. Boy, number 5 showing some speed there to get to the rim, but can't finish. Miles Kelly tips his hat and says, sir, I understand. I've been there myself many times. Wow, Denver trying for the spin back move there. That used to see Magic Johnson try a lot. But I got the ball stripped. Auburn switched off Padula there. That was smart. I'd rather have Chaney on him than Semo. Ole Miss really wanting to target Semo. Miles Kelly with another rebound. Still only has 3, it looks like. Goodness gracious. Auburn. I don't know if Auburn loses at all when he gets 5 rebounds. We may find out here. That's on Janai, dude. He got stutter steppy and didn't have good body balance and control on that drive. What are they calling here, bro? I thought Broom's response defensively on that pass inside was really good. He didn't over pursue. He didn't get up in the air. Okay, the foul's on the rebound. Okay, I got it. I thought the positioning on that defense of the shot was really good, and it was, but they didn't call it on that. That was a late call, Solo, but he did hit him on the arm. I mean, let's be fair about it. Man, this is a game. Damn near every game of the SEC tournament's been like this. Colby, if you were pulling for Arkansas to be playing this game, you're about the only one. I think most people thought that Ole Miss was a better matchup for Auburn than Arkansas. But you might be onto something there. This Ole Miss team is frothy tonight. They are ready to play. And I'm not sure Auburn is. I mean, not that Auburn's sucking, but they don't have that same. There you go, Janai. Ole Miss double team was there, Johnny on the spot, super fast, but Janai was ready and knew exactly where he wanted to go with that, and had great body control and was able to get that ball in for the and one. That's big, man. Padula's just out of his element there. He's not going to help you much there. I mean, he's doing the job, but I think we all want to see more Janai, right? Like, that's just, he can do that. If he's doing that instead of the fallaways, he can still be a menace. It's weird to be talking about him like he can still be good. Like, hits the free throw, nice. All right, so that's a nice little boost right there. And Auburn extends its lead to 5 here with 4 minutes to go. Still tight as hell, man. Padula with a really nice rhythm shot. I mean, it was a quality shot, but he didn't hit a damn thing. And Broom is going thumbs down. We're going to our last break here. Last media break, I should say. Definitely a feeling that Auburn's... Oh, Rob, that is very clever. Patula Oblamgata. That's pretty good. Anonymous says CBM looks high. And Brandon J says, when I see Padula, I see Jackie Moon, like half-sized Jackie Moon, but I do see it. Yeah. Yeah, let's get these stats up, man. You guys are hilarious in the chat, man. Sometimes I just get caught watching the chat. And I don't pay attention to some of the stuff I got to be doing over here, like getting you all the hottest and freshest, hottest and most fresherest. I don't know what word I'm using here. It's not like I get paid to say words and write words. Blah, blah, blah. As my wife says, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Wow, I got the stats up nicely, too. Perfect. 53% shooting for the Auburn Tigers this half. 50% shooting for the Ole Miss Rebels. Auburn with a slight advantage in three-point shooting. About the same at the free throw line. Auburn's rebounding advantage continues to grow. They're +9 now. Although, interestingly, despite that rebounding advantage, their second chance opportunities are still behind. Ole Miss is up 11-4 on second chance. So that's kind of I don't want to say a worrying stat. It's just surprising to me. I feel like Auburn should be even with Ole Miss in that category, and if they were, this game would not be as close as it is. Ole Miss, 6 assists so far in this entire game. 6 assists on 18 buckets, 10 turnovers for Ole Miss. Auburn has a negative assist-to-turnover ratio, which I bet they've only done probably 5 times this season. 11-13 right now. But the number I like best here is just Auburn's continuing to extend its rebounding advantage and now has 10 offensive rebounds. Has not been able to turn those rebounds into buckets right away, but this is a winning formula, I think, just to try to keep Ole Miss away from the second chance opportunities or getting more of them. To be fair, Ole Miss had 6 second chance buckets, Ole Miss had 6 second chance points early in this game. They're only at 11 now. So I think it was the first 2 segments of the game they had gotten 6. Since then, they've added 5. So it's been less of an issue lately. And it's been more or less even for the last, 6 or 7 segments of the game. But it's an area where, again, considering that offensive, that rebounding situation, Auburn should be at least even. Nothing else really standing out to me here big time. Auburn's -2 scoring this half. A little surprising to me. And Auburn's points per possession right now is still under 1. Yeah, words are hard sometimes, Ephesian. I thought Auburn was going to score probably 70 in this game. Like, just offensively have not been there. You never thought you'd have days where multiple days where Auburn couldn't score the basketball the way you would expect them to. I mean, there's such a good offensive operation in general. Not today, but generally. I mean, this is a team that routinely scored 85 or more just game after game after game after game, and now it just seems – and they scored that against Alabama too, but in this game here, in a game where I thought they would be scoring, 80-ish or more, they scored 90-something on Ole Miss at their place, scored 100 on them in Neville. But today, 52 with not a whole lot of time left, probably 6 or 7 possessions. It would be nice to see Auburn make the most of this possession right here and at least get some serious space between them and Ole Miss. Janai with 2 pump fakes to get Ole Miss completely off kilter and lays it in for a deuce. That's a nice play right there. Nice little – that was a design play. Chad getting that ball over to Janai as a roller. Oh, Ole Miss had a good 3-point shot there, and it was in and out. Auburn gets the defensive rebound, extending its rebounding advantage. And now they're just going to try to slow down Ole Miss, take all the time they need. And I think one more bucket and Ole Miss is going to be in real trouble here. They're fouling the shit out of Denver. I don't think it's going to go. That's going to be a foul on the floor. Yeah, I appreciate the idea there, Denver, but I don't think it's going to go. You know, Coach Ian Borders is saying, put that bad boy in. There's Patch Adams, the man himself, the legend. I say legend because, you know, the bunker hates him so much. And it was, you know, it was like before that it was Clockerty that everybody hated. And then it was a TV Teddy after that everybody hated. Now it's Patch Adams that everybody hates. Yeah, I think that's goaltending, my man. Is it? Well, that's a tough one. I do think he got his hand on it. CJ says Billis sucks so bad to listen to. Oh my effing God. And Chip says I spy a goat sphincter on TV. All right. Bucket counts for the Auburn Tigers. This is a good time for Auburn to be pushing and getting ahead of Ole Miss a little bit here, getting a 9-point lead with Denver at the line. Mitch, my man, says, I turn off Billis and turn on JG. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Terrence, I think I might be with you there, but there's nuances that I miss sometimes because I watch NBA and then I switch to college and it's a little different. I don't know. Anyway, Denver does what he does at the line, hits the free throw. Now Auburn's got its first double-digit lead of the game. Yeah. Auburn's largest lead prior to this was 9. Oh, Colby, don't say that yet, bro. And CJ is also pulling for it. No way, man. It's not time for that yet. Don't tempt fate with this yet. I need another bucket or two. Let's see. Steven says Pat Adams is the worst ref of all time. TV Teddy was bad, dude. I mean, I think he was a good official, but man, he really did make it about him. I don't know if Patch does it like that. Patch just does a lot of reviews over stuff that I think is really banal, like easy stuff to see. I got dragged to a Pink concert back in the fall by my wife, long story, and there was a Tennessee fan in front of me who was watching the game. That was the Tennessee-Georgia football game. And I made friends with that guy, and I got to say, it's the first time I've ever had a good experience with a Tennessee fan. Of course, he got his ass dragged to a Pink concert like I did. So we had that in common. And it's hard to be a tough guy when you're at a Pink concert, you know what I mean? But I will say that. I want to give that guy a shout-out. I don't know who the hell he was, but it's pretty cool. His wife was not a Tennessee fan, I don't think. Another lazy pass. Spicy P, you can call it that right there because that's exactly what it was. And Ole Miss gets that 10-point lead down to 6 quickly. That's a bad turnover, man. Jeez. Chad's begging for this ball. He feels like he can hit this. I don't like Janai 23 feet out. I don't like this at all. I don't like it at all. Don't like it at all. God, that shot was awful. All right. Ole Miss now only down 6. I'm glad we didn't go for the danger zone. Oh, he's wide open. Missed the shot. Ole Miss just can't hit threes. Oh, what a save. Chad's going to the hole. Oh!
Boom shakalaka.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Listen, man. And some damn ballerina work on the other end, man. Denver with a big-time save. Janai with a big-time save and gets the ball out to Chad, who gets the flush city on the break plus a foul. Look at this play by Denver to save it. Janai makes another diving stab to save it. Pass from Miles up to Chad, and he says, I'm going in, bro. If it's between me and Padula, I'm going to win this. Oh, some great saves there, man. I might have saved the game right there. I was worried about where that was going, honestly. Until that. This is danger zone now, I think. If Ole Miss doesn't score here, it's danger zone. MC Tigger just says, holy F, what a roller coaster this game's been. Still 1:19 to go. Auburn's up 9, but Ole Miss going to the line. That does rhyme, by the way, for 2 here. Brandon J says, defense, Auburn, defense. That could have been a mic man. All right, everybody, get your hands together for a ball getter. All for Auburn. Stand up and holler. Let's go. $52.60. Still feel like Auburn's got a 97% chance to win this game, but that 3% always gets me anxious. Small Victory says we can save danger zone. I think I'm not in a I don't want to be the first one, to hands together for about to get a Beppo's heard that one a time or two. I feel like a stranger says chill with the danger zone talk. I swear it's like y'all have never watched hoops before. I know that there was a push to do that at the Georgia game, the one in Athens at Auburn. Damn near shit the bed on that one. There was another one. I can't remember which one it was. It got real dicey. And Stoop Up says, for the love of God, quit asking for danger zone. The other team scores every time somebody asks for it. Bill says, I guess we're getting he's getting a summary of the chat or of the stream on YouTube. It says, AI says we're complaining about the officiating. No. In this stream, never. Chris says, y'all delayed. Auburn up 12. Where's my puncher? Huh. I was actually delayed a little bit, but they're still on commercial right here. That's funny, though. You're messing with me, bro. I actually looked. Is he serious? Colby says, quit being superstitious. Danger zone. Get some, what? Yardage. Let's go, Auburn. Frank, he got us, bro. He got us with a hook, line, and sinker on that one. We got the score right here. Christopher B says, all my homies hate Jay Billis. I love the guy's first name, to be fair, but I had a conversation with him. The one time I talked to him was at I was covering Alabama back in those days. I was at the I wasn't covering them full time. I went out to San Diego to cover them for the NCAA regional. This is back when I was at the newspaper. And there was an evacuation at the arena they thought there was a bomb in a hot dog cart. And so we got evacuated, and I ended up standing with Jay Billis. And I was like, hey, man, I hate Duke, but I really like your first name because my name's Jay, too. And he was like, oh, I don't meet many Jays. And we just started talking. He seemed pretty cool, though. But I did tell him I hate Duke, and as a result, I'd like to kick you in your nuts. I didn't use those words. I just said I very much dislike Duke, and I cheered against your ass every time you played. Let's see. Christopher B says, Ole Miss has quickly climbed the ranks of one of the most annoying fan bases ever. Is this even a thing? Their unearned arrogance is astounding. I mean, their football team has actually come a long way, but I think you're speaking specifically about their basketball fans. And I didn't know Ole Miss fans were that way. My experiences with them have always been positive. Now, I can understand the football situation just because Lane, has given them reason to be more confident. They're pretty good. The basketball, they're just kind of, they're middle class, solid. 53-60. 119 to go. I think, Auburn just needs to go about its business down here and not turn the ball over, and they just turned the ball over. It's 55-60. Padula put the ball in. Goodness gracious, man. I'm so glad you guys didn't push for that soundbite that you guys are talking. Let's see. Leif says, I agree. Ole Miss fans are so annoying at Auburn Athletics. We love Leif, man. We love Leif. One of our Ole Miss friends. One of the few that didn't completely ditch me when Neil McCready decided I was a worthless piece of shit. Thank you for hanging out with us, Leif. You're an absolute stud. Let's see. Spicy P wants to know turnovers this half. You know what? I can get you that number pretty damn quickly, honestly. 11 turnovers by Auburn this half. 9 assists and 11 turnovers for this half. And then the first half, it was 4 assists, 4 turnovers. So, yikes. That's not good. Ole Miss, for its part, 2 assists and 3 turnovers this half. So, they're not necessarily moving the ball great, but they're not turning it over either. Auburn with 11 turnovers and a half. I bet you they haven't done that in a while. To have 11 turnovers and a half. I mean, they average 7 or 8 a game. And Auburn has had 2, maybe 3 really bad, like full court turnovers. And not here lately, just that one here lately, but their full court, getting the ball away from full court pressure has not been great today. Not at all. All right, so Ole Miss is just going to defend it here, down 5 with a minute. I think that's the right call. Auburn's still a little disjointed. Ole Miss's pressure on the ball is super, super high. Auburn's having to dribble out to 30 feet to get away from it. I don't think Chad's scared about this dude that's defending him. Got him rocked to his left. Missed a shot. It's foul. No, it's foul. I'm going to have a drink, guys. I know it's Friday at 2 o'clock, and if you want to judge me, that's fine, but I just think it's time to have a little bit of bourbon here. By the way, I'm drinking the end of this Blue Note bottle. Blue Note 9-year. This stuff you can't even find on the shelves anymore. They ran out. Or I guess their deal with MGP ran out. MGP's not playing as nicely with people as they used to. 56-60. Dylan looks a little anxious. He may not be the only one. This is getting tight. $57-60. The Ole Miss Rebels are within a bucket now. It's not great. Auburn taking its time, which I completely agree with. They need to get buckets or free throws here. 6 on the shot clock. Janai going to the rack. Oh, that's a big bucket right there. That's a vintage Janai 80%er right there. Boy, big time bucket. Big time bucket right there. Spicy Pieces, here comes the fadeaway. Hey, man, I got to admit, I was thinking the same thing. It's like, don't fade that away, brother. But he didn't. He stood his ground and kind of, I don't necessarily think he was going toward the bucket, but he was kind of sideways. To Leif and Jay Robertson, if you guys are still in here, that is a shot that he used to take 10 times a game, and nobody could touch him on it. And he got away from it for reasons that we don't understand, but he went back at just the right time. Oh, we're going to call danger zone at this time. Okay, I can go with that now.
Danger zone. This is your redheads, your strippers, anyone named Tiffany. This is where your car gets keyed, you get a bunny in the pot, your tires get slashed, and you wind up in jail.
Danger zone officially there. Kind of coming in late for this game, honestly. I thought Auburn would be able to put Ole Miss away. And that may have just happened, but it took a long damn time. Janai's definitely been a factor in this game, 100%. I mean, he typically is. You know, he had those couple games where he was not great on the scoring end. He's been pretty good today. That's the one there, the spin move where he made himself small and slid in between two guys, made himself like a little toothpick. That was a tough bucket right there. And the shot he just made, which was, wow, came at a very, very clutch time. Looks like Janai's kind of grabbing his ribs or something. Might have gotten a little elbow action. CJ says bunny in the pot. Somebody I was talking to at trivia the other night had never heard of Glenn Close. Did not know who Glenn Close was. And by the way, I lost a trivia question that I should have known. It was, what is the oldest city in the state of Alabama? And I made myself overthink it too much because my initial thought was the actual correct answer. The answer is, we talked about this on the Bourbon Blend, it's Mobile. Of course it's Mobile. It's going to be a water town. You know that. Padula with a 3. Janai with a defensive rebound, and that is going to wrap it up right there. The Auburn Tigers are going to get a 5-point win. 57-62 in a game that was very hotly contested. Difficult, of course, to get a three-peat over the same team in a season. That can be a very tough thing. Particularly an Ole Miss ball club that I think is good. Not as good as Auburn, obviously, but a good ball club. You know, middle of the pack, but it's a great year in the SEC. And I think Ole Miss will get to the tournament, the NCAA tournament. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. How do we break this one down, guys? I mean, like, you try to win the game. You know, you play the game to win the game, and they did that. But man, Ole Miss was ready for that. Ole Miss was ready for that. MC Tigger jumping into the super chat. My man, love you guys. Look at that. Let's give him an applause for that. We love having MC Tigger here. Obviously, been a bunker legend for long before I even got there, but appreciate him hanging out here with us hanging out with us on the bunker, and just being a really just a nice, valuable member of the community. Bego says, how hard is it to beat a good team 3 times in a year? You're so right about that. And I see Poppy wants to know what's Wes Flanny saying in the handshake line. I think that there's probably some hard feelings there for Wes, but it's not with the players. And I think it's only with the head coach. And I don't even think it's that bad. I think he just felt like BP could have done more to help him get where he wants to go. And that's a complicated calculus, honestly. 'Cause I love Wes, and when he, I don't know. I'm just telling you what my opinion would be. My opinion would be my career is my responsibility. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying Wes wasn't taking responsibility for his own career. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he felt like this head coach could have done more to push him for better opportunities or head coach opportunities. Just different ways of looking at the world. I'm telling you, Wes Flanagan's a good dude, though. All right, here's the final numbers. And you felt like Chris Beard had his back more. Whatever. Steven says Flanagan can pound sand. Hey, man, that's an Auburn guy right there. We don't want to give him too much pounded sand. 57-62. Man, tough one. Auburn shot a lot better in the second half. Ole Miss also shot much better in the second half, but tailed off at the end and finished at 48% for the second half, which was not the course that they were on. They finished 20 of 53. The Auburn Tigers 23 of 51. 3-point shooting was about even. Neither one of them were very good. Free throw shooting were about even. Neither one very good. Well, it was solid. 10 of 15 for Auburn to me is a little below average, but that's fine. Just maybe 1 or 2 buckets. But Auburn finishes plus 10 in rebounding, which I know Auburn wanted to be double digits ahead in rebounding in this game. Finished with 14 assists and 15 turnovers, which is absurd. That's way too many turnovers. Plus full court turnovers, which you never see from Auburn. I feel like a stranger jumps in to say Janai Broom took him to Ron Slay's boom, boom, broom, boom, boom, room. Doom, 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 doom. I need to do one of those AI songs about the boom, boom room. That would be a good, sound effect to have. Thank you, Feel Like a Stranger, with another super chat. Absolutely stud. Always super supportive. We appreciate that. Shane Beamer was who BP was talking to his son there on the sidelines. That was pretty cool. Let's see. Steven says, what I love is we finished the game with Broom at the rim. One thing fixed. Yeah, he had himself a game, right? 8 of 14, 23 points. 7 of 10 at the line, which you can live with. 15 boards. So 23 and 15. That is a National Player of the Year type game. 1 assist, 3 turnovers, which is something that I probably put more value on that part of his game than I should. Where in my head, I'm like, he played a solid game, but his passing sucked. It doesn't really matter in this case. When you go for 23 and 15, well, you can tell BP is in full P.T. Barnum mode here. And he and Greenberg get along so good, so it's like he's got a good friend sitting next to him. T-Roy jumps in with a super chat, my man. See, thanks, Commodore. Got to get back to work now. War, damn Eagle. Appreciate you, T-Roy. Great stuff today, and also in the chat last night. Appreciate you, my man. Small Victory says, turn up your volume. I haven't touched it since this show started. I mean, I can, I guess. There you go. I just turned it up a little bit. If that helps. So what was the most encouraging thing about this game for you guys? For me, it was just that Auburn actually continued to battle, got through it. Janai had a great game. Those are 2 things that stood out to me. And I didn't feel like Auburn spit the bit defensively at any point in the game. You give up 57 in a game, you feel real good about it. Thomas K. Able to provide some synopsis of what BP's saying, and he's saying, I got 4, meaning Broom, and you don't. I mean, Janai's a good dude. Don't get me wrong. I was talking about him a little bit at halftime. Why does ESPN love Cooper Flagg so much and not Janai? And I wish Janai was a little more exciting to talk to. He is who he is, and he's a good dude. He's just kind of boring to talk to. He's not a boring player, that's for sure. I love it. Ephesians says they asked Broom what you were thinking on the last play, and he said, don't fade away. My man. That's exactly what we would have said, right? That's hilarious. And that's exactly what we were all hoping for, too. That's funny. That'd be a good question in the postgame, honestly. Well, that's good. The great news is that Auburn's going to be living to play another day, and we were kind of hoping that Auburn would get that win to, in my opinion, solidify the overall number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Now, there's other people who know a lot about the tournament who said Auburn had already got it, so it wouldn't have mattered. But I think just from optics, man, you don't want to go into the NCAA tournament having lost 3 in a row. I mean, you just don't want that. So, and Auburn's better than that. I mean, Auburn is really good. So, yeah, it's good to get this win against Ole Miss. You know, beating Ole Miss to me is not a big achievement, but the way this game played out and the way it was such a grinder and the way they rose to the occasion and made some great plays at great times, including Janai particularly, and Chad with this dunk they're showing on the replay right now over Padula or alongside Padula. That was a put-away play, and I thought Janai's turnaround late was the absolute finisher. But it's good to see Auburn continue to compete and get it done. Let's see what else impressed you guys. Let's see. Grind said nothing. It looked like an and one basketball tournament, no team ball. Even the shot by Broom to seal it was a one-on-one. Frank G, appreciate that opinion, Grind. Frank G said battled hard and did the right things in the end. Defense was great, which is why we got away with guys like Tahad, CBM, and Chaney scoring so little. Chaney, another kind of anonymous game, but I will give him credit. 7 rebounds is great. That's something you want to see from him. But the 3 turnovers is a big, big minus for a guy that doesn't handle the ball that much. To have 3 turnovers is too much. And Janai had 3 turnovers as well. And he doesn't handle the ball that much, but he does more than Chaney. Ephesians says, I feel this is an obvious answer here, but who do you want tomorrow? I mean, definitely Texas, right? I mean, 100%. That's going to be the next game is Texas against Tennessee, and I imagine Tennessee's going to be ready to run all over Texas. Cleveland says, did you all hear Bruce Pearl drop the kitty word on ESPN? Brah. Terrence says, hey, Grind, I'm sorry. I will get off your lawn now, LOL. Small Victory says, BP just said he loves his guards aren't cats. Interesting. Did he really say that? I mean, he's right, but maybe we don't say that on national TV. I don't know. Now the Bammers who heard that are going to file FCC complaints, just like the Aubs did against Saban for what he said on TV. That's the way it goes. Small Victory says, yep, BP just said his guards aren't meow meows on live TV. Meow. Meow, meow, meow. At least he's telling the truth there. Let's see. Steven says, we want UT bad instead of UT. Come on, that's funny, dude. Well done. Well done. I like that. One way or another, it's going to be a UT, right? Tennessee, pretty good ball club, but they do lose games. What did they end up losing in that league this year? 6, maybe? 7? I know they're good, though. Then Small Victory says, then Jay Will, and Broom then joked that BP thinks he's still in the locker room. BP's he's a real pleasure to cover. He really is. That's funny. Chip says AU guards aren't ham sandwiches. This is what he's talking about right here. Uh-oh. What he's talking about right there. I guess he's saying they just aren't like, grab and go guys. They stay, They stay as part of the game. Bo is great says, as long as it's not a UTI. Come on, man. That's good stuff right there. P-Pass says, I want Tennessee. Exert my authority. And Small Time Republic says, Nate Oates can't always say the same. I think Mark Sears is tough as hell, but Aiden, not so much. He can be a little bit of a kitty cat sometimes. There's no doubt about that. Courtney got the biggest kick out of this last night. Hamusi and cheese. Sorry, guys. I'm just hungry for a sandwich right now. That's all. It's that simple. That was a grinder. That was definitely a grinder. We can do our letter grades if you'd like to. I always like doing letter grades. It's always fun for me. Oh, yes, Stephen, good point. It says, here's a positive. We finished an SEC Patch Adams game in under 2.5 hours. He only did like 3 or 4 reviews at the monitor instead of the average 18. That's pretty good, no doubt. I know Bo is great, was excited. Bo's great is excited because he had to move to Oman to avoid the taxes here in America, and so he's getting spotty internet, but he had a chance to watch this game on Starlink that he stole from Somali pirates when he was out on the water earlier today. So he's in a great mood. And also the fact that he's not having to pay taxes in Oman is huge. Let's go letter grades. Denver, for me, just kind of eyeballing it. To me, is probably a B+. 13 points on 5 of 8 shooting, 2 of 5 from 3, 2 boards, 2 assists, 1 turnover. Yeah, B or B+, I think. It's pretty good. Janai, A+. He was the difference in the game. 23 points, 15 boards. Don't care about his turnovers very much. When you're the guy you can kind of saddle up and ride, I mean, he was a man in this game, and he was the difference. I mean, like BP was saying, I've got 4 and you don't, and it was so obvious that Ole Miss needed a go-to guy and didn't have it. I mean, Padula was trying to do it, but that's not really him, and Janai was the man today. Let's see. Bo's great. Does not deny my story from earlier about Somali pirates, but he says pirate chicks are hot. Who's the captain now? P-Pass definitely gets the reference, and Stephen Ash says, ha ha ha, Starlink. I'm going to work Elon Musk in there one way or another. I promise you that. So Janai gets an A+ from me. He was an absolute stud. Simo was in there for 16 minutes somehow, had 0 points, 2 boards. I'll give him a C. Miles Kelly, 9 points on 4 of 10 shooting. 3 boards. We'd like to see him get 5 per game. 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 block. Defense was good on the ball, though. It was really good. He was kind of on Padula and giving him some trouble. Padula ended up having a decent line, but 0 assists and 3 turnovers tells me a little bit of a story there. So I'm going to give Miles Kelly a B+, even though I thought his offensive game was just okay, and I would like to see more rebounds from him. And Grind makes a great point. What was up with the lazy passes, Mike Kelly? He did have a couple really bad turnovers. That one late in the game was just awful. And had that game gone the other way and Ole Miss win the game, that would have been a play that I would have said, whoa, buddy, that was a game changer there. I still give him a B+, though. Bottom line is that Auburn, that game didn't cost Auburn the game. That play didn't cost Auburn the game. Dylan, I was not impressed with Dylan today at all. 0 points, 0 rebounds, 3 fouls, 2 turnovers, no assists. Okay, so that's bad. I mean, I'm going to give him an F. I mean, I don't do that very often, and I'm not trying to give the kid trouble. Kid, he's like 30. But to play 13 minutes and have 0 rebounds as big as he is, like, that's crazy to me. So F on that one. Tahad, I thought competed. I don't really care about the numbers as much. I'm always impressed with Tahad. Like, he's just like a fire burning, and he's competing all the time. 5 points and 2 of 6 shooting, 4 rebounds, which is great for him. 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 1 block, 1 steal. I'm impressed. I give him a B. Maybe a B+, because I just think his fire matters. I think it just kind of is something that other players can feed off of. Jakai played like barely. Turtle played, I think, parts of 2 shifts, and I was impressed. So I'm going to give Turtle a B today, even though he only played 4 minutes, because I actually noticed him. Chad Bacon Lasagna, 7 points on 2 of 5 shooting. No rebounds, which is kind of weird. 6 assists, though, and 1 turnover. 6 assists. Played with a lot of energy, I thought, today, and then obviously no technical fouls, so that's nice. So I'm going to give him a B+. Again, 0 rebounds keeps him from playing at an A level, in my opinion. And then Chaney, I give him a C. 7 boards is good in a game where I thought rebounding was really going to be important. I mean, it was important, and he was a factor. Second most rebounds on the team behind Big Daddy Janai, but 3 points on 1 of 5 shooting and 0 assists, 3 turnovers. Yeah, I'll give him a C+, just because I thought the rebounding was good. Terrence notes that Dylan's plus-minus was -9 in a game that Auburn won by 5. So that's problematic, and Dylan just didn't have it today. I don't know what else to say about it. Played 13 minutes, which is a little low for him. And I think Chaney and Janai ended up playing a little bit more. Janai ends up playing 35. Probably took a shift or 2 away from Dylan because he wasn't in foul trouble. But all in all, I mean, Janai was the difference today. And I think if Janai was hurt and wasn't playing today, Auburn loses this game. But fortunately for Auburn, he is healthy and he did play and he brought it. And there's a reason why he's being named, National Player of the Year, because he can play like this and he can do that. Chip is not going to offer stats. Oftentimes he does alongside of mine, and I think they're very worthwhile, but he said he's not going to be able to do that today because he didn't see the first half, which is fair. He did say he's comfortable giving out an overall team grade of C- based on stats and what I watched. Hey, man, I mean, you win the game, right? Don Proper Dickens says, did I see Bama on X yesterday suddenly claiming a 1928 basketball natty? I think it was somebody who doesn't work for the university who was trying to make the argument, some rogue Bammer. It would be very on brand, of course, for them to do that. Very, very on brand. Grind says, Chad Bacon Lasagna had 0 texts, so it's an A from me. People get a little bit upset when I ask about Chad Bacon Lasagna's technicals or ejections. They get a little bit sensitive about it. I really don't bring this up every press conference or anything. I just thought it was worthwhile considering him being gone was a big deal in the Alabama game. That's all. Terrence says 3 fouls, 2 turnovers, 0 boards, 0 points, 0 missed shots, though. That's true. He didn't miss any shots. So he didn't really slow down the scoring operation any more than it already was. Hey, guys, guess what? Cooper Flagg's hurt. We're going to go through this on ESPN for the 17th time. Hey, it's Pete Thamel. Everybody at Auburn loves him so much. He is the ESPN insider. Word. Man, that was a tough one. That it did not go how I expected it. I thought Auburn would win this game maybe 80-65 is what I thought. And Auburn underscored again, which is, I don't know. Maybe it feels like a trend to me, but honestly, Auburn scored a lot of points against Alabama. Not enough, but scored a lot. And you look at some of the numbers for Ole Miss, and I mean, that's a function of Auburn doing things. I mean, 6 assists for a game is not great. Considering they had 20 buckets. And so Auburn was defensively causing them some trouble. I mean, they ended up scoring 57, which ain't much. So I thought Auburn's defense, in a general sense, was very good today. Auburn's scoring was not very good today. And I think without Janai, just kind of big boy and some buckets, it's trouble city. Heartbreak city, as the kids would say. Although the cars would say it was heartbeat city, not heartbreak city, but you know what I mean. Hashtag 1984. Hashtag magic. Hashtag you might think. Hashtag why can't I have you? I'm missing another one too. Oh, hashtag drive. Schaefer Kia says we have to get our crap together. It would be nice to see Auburn put together a game where everything's working well. I mean, we saw that happen a bunch of times this season. Seems like for the most part it was happening earlier in the season rather than later in the season. But it's fair to expect teams to attack Auburn differently when you're number one and you're the big dog on the block for months at a time. I mean, it hasn't been that long ago. Auburn played a complete game against Kentucky, without a doubt, and they played a complete game against Ole Miss in Neville Arena on the 26th of February. So we don't have to go back too far to see. And I thought Auburn played Georgia pretty well prior to that Ole Miss game too. So we don't have to go back too far. It's just I think that Texas A&M game and the Alabama game, some bad taste in the mouth over that. But some of that got assuaged today with the win against the hated Ole Miss Rebels. P-Pass says hashtag Paulina. That guy knows what he's talking about right there. Rick Ocasek. It gives everybody, seriously, it should give everybody buoyancy in the dating perspective to know that Rick Ocasek, who's legitimately an ugly human being, or was an ugly human being, and I say this as an ugly human being, was banging Paulina Pornoskova. I mean, it's possible, you know. It can be done. Hornatius is here with us. He says, sup, gentle people. Can't stay long. Have been baking... I have been baking videos to watch. What? On one hand, we are so stoked that my man Hornatius has been sober for a while now. I'm not sure he'll be willing to tell us how long it's been. Probably 2 or 3 months. And he's doing great work with that. The downside is that he's doing more baking, and I'm a little concerned about it. And as far as I know, he still has a picture of still has a drawing of his house in his house. Which to me is the sign of someone who's not quite with it. Now, I'm sure he has a defense for this, but I don't know what it is. Grind says, I think we cover whoever we play tomorrow. Texas should be dog tired. Yeah, I mean, you'd think Auburn would crush Texas tomorrow if it was Texas. And Tennessee can't make threes. But Tennessee can play some defense now. And that game in Neville Arena was an absolute slugfest. That game, I think that was probably the toughest win that Auburn had all year. And it was like 66 to, I don't know, 64 or 62 or something like that. 53-51. Close, Jay. That was a dogfight, man. As the kids say, a rock fight. Hornatius says 5 months and 8 days. Amazing, dude. Let's give him an applause for that. That's great work, man. And I know you're doing some amazing work as a dad and as a friend and as a husband because you're a badass. But I still think the painting or drawing, I should say, of your house inside your house is weird as shit. And me and my wife talk about that sometimes, how weird that is. But that's fine. You also drive a Cheap. But I drive a Tesla, so I deserve it. AP says CBM 6 assists. He made up for his lack of offense from that standpoint. We need to talk more about how important Denver is to this team's success. Specifically, right, he's an operator with the ball. I don't think he's a great point guard, but he is a good scorer with the ball in his hands, which I think is a little bit of an adaptation for him because I think at his core, he is a rhythm shooter. I think he's at his best when he's perched along the line. They get him a ball that's in this area, and he just goes down and up and shoots in rhythm, and I think he does that. He's a menace, and he got some opportunities like that today and hit some opportunities like that today. I think he's a really good combo guard. Chip says, can you see the drawing of the house on the wall of the house in the drawing? That reminds me of Jay and Silent Bob when he says, we're going to make them eat the shit that we shit out. And then they're going to have to eat the shit. Exactly. And Movies? Isn't that the name of that place? Movies? Hornatius says, AA always sees my house painting upside down.
Yeah, on Monday, I won't make it on Monday because I got someone calls on Monday.
Man, I'm not into, trigonometry. I'm going to have to defer to Nate Oates on that one. But, wow. I'll have to think about that one for a minute. It's all about parallax, Ephesians says, my vacation day paid off. It was worth it. You got to see an Auburn W, a postseason Auburn W. And you'd like to see more of them, of course, as they play the winner of this Texas and Tennessee matchup next tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Well, no, at noon, right? Or do they change it to 1? I must look this up and find out myself. No, same time tomorrow. So it'll be noon Central Time, 1 o'clock for our friends in the Eastern Time Zone, again against the Texas-Tennessee winner. And then you still got Missouri, Florida tonight, and then Kentucky against the hated Alabama Crimson Tide. Well, the hated Cats against the hated Tide. Late tonight, a game that went past midnight last night. The late game did. That bizarre Oklahoma-Kentucky game was, well, bizarre in a good way. It was very entertaining. P-Pass says it's a far side trick of the house. Anthony R says, got to take care of the ball better, JG. Absolutely, dude. 15 turnovers for Auburn is insane. Way too many. They average between 7 and 8 a game, and they had 11 in the second half today. And some of those were full quarters, which, pressure in the full court. Usually Auburn handles that with ease, and some teams have just completely backed off of Auburn, pressuring them full court because they're so good at it. Ole Miss took some risks today, and I think it really paid off because end of the day, Auburn had some breakdowns. And I think that's an area of emphasis that Auburn's going to be talking about between now and the next Tennessee game about, I'm sorry, I shouldn't assume that, whatever game they play tomorrow, to take better care of the ball, specifically in the full court. because that could have been an area of disaster today. And Anthony R. says those are lazy-ass passes. There were at least 3 that I can remember that were just, they weren't even thinking. It was almost just like automatic passes back to the point. They were just getting tipped and taken the other way. It was not cool. I feel like a stranger says it's noon tomorrow. I have a work event tomorrow with a grieving mother at noon. Golly, that does not sound fun. You know, when I go to my therapist, I always ask her, I'm not saying you're a therapist. When I go to my therapist, I know sometimes we'll talk about some of the people that she talks to that are not me. And I do this to make myself feel better about my problems so I can hear that people have bigger problems than I do. Anyway, some of the things that she ends up having to talk about are really tough, man. That is a job that I couldn't do. And the irony is that I have a master's degree in counseling psychology, but I still couldn't do that job. I didn't realize it until late, but fuck it, might as well finish it. I don't know about Rodney Terry's glasses, guys. He kind of looks like an evil scientist, like someone that you would not trust, who works in a tower, like a dark, dimly lit tower on top of a small mountain, where he formulates robots that do bad things to people, but not kill them. Just agitate people, maybe. I don't know. Throwing ideas out there. Small Victories jumps in with a super chat. Says, agree with Ephesians. Great vacation day. I told you earlier, Small Victories took the day off. And I'm glad he did, so he could be hanging out with us here. Now moved outside to enjoy the perfect weather. Thanks for the greenest drain. He may have meant the greatest drain or just a great drain. War Damn Eagle. Small Victories, we appreciate you, bro. And I think this is a perfect day to go outside and enjoy the weather. Because tomorrow, I don't know where you're living specifically, but there's going to be a lot of nasty weather from Mobile all the way up to Nash Vegas and maybe even beyond that tomorrow. So we're going to have to be careful tomorrow. But today, sun and happiness, particularly with the Auburn Tigers winning that game and beating Ole Miss and kind of getting off the schneid a little bit. That's great. Great news. I was trying to see some of these chats in here. Let's see. I feel like a stranger says Rodney Terry is Gus from Breaking Bad. I'm going to be honest, guys. It's a lot like my Seinfeld take, which I've never seen a full episode of Seinfeld in my life. I've never seen an episode of Breaking. Well, that's not true. We watched 1 or 2. 2 times my wife and I tried to start Breaking Bad, and both times we just were like, I'm not seeing it. And so we gave up twice. One show that we gave up on, but we're back trying it again, is Righteous Gemstones, which we're actually enjoying now. Had to go all the way back to season 1, but I'm enjoying it. Not that you guys care about that. Small Victory says he's in South Carolina. Nephew's basketball game in the morning and then back home to watch us at 1 o'clock. My man, South Carolina, great place to be. My experiences in South Carolina have been great. And I always feel like when I meet people who are from South Carolina, they are so proud to be from South Carolina. And I think that palmetto tree really means something to people from South Carolina. Something about family and roots and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. And Grind is a fan of Feel Like a Stranger's take on that one. By the way, somebody posted on Twitter a picture of Gus, not Gus from Breaking Bad, but Gus Malzahn, being at the UCF game, the basketball game, like cheering for the Golden Knights, even though he's long gone from there and he's now a FSU Seminole. Of course, he's got Herb Hand with him there at FSU. I don't understand it. Ravin says, thanks for the show, JG. Can't wait for tomorrow's. My man. Maybe we ought to wrap it up there if Ravin is saying thanks for the show. We love having Ravin here. He's one of the pillars of the community. We had a lot of great stuff in the chat today. Coming up on 1,000 messages in the chat today. That's amazing. You guys are great. It was interesting, to say the least. There were some anxious moments, though, when people were asking for the danger zone when it was clearly not a danger zone situation. Oh, Small Victory says, no, actually from Georgia, but moved here a couple years ago to be closer to family. That's a great reason to move, honestly. And I know that when you were in Georgia, you were having to, you probably don't hear as many grown men barking anymore, which is a plus. And I don't feel like South Carolina fans are bothersome in any particular way. Definitely going to be pulling for Texas in this one. Grind says, you're the man, JG. No. It's you, Grind. Glad to have you here, bro. bringing your perspective and sharing it in the chat. It's what we do here. It's what we like to do. Free exchange of ideas. And I would argue it's the best chat in all the internet when it comes to Auburn basketball. Love just the emotion and the intelligence, and people here almost to a man and woman no ball. And that's what I love, because sometimes on the bunker it gets a little football-y, right? You can't bring football thoughts, football approach to basketball. It's different. Jay is here in the chat. Of course, there's a Jay running this chat. Says, late to the party, Wardam Eagle. It's the right time. And he says, cheers, get a glass of whiskey. Well, I have one. It's not got a lot of whiskey in it because I drank it already. But I just had like, this is the equivalent of one pour. Ephesians says, JG, let's do it again tomorrow, brother. However, let's leave the turnovers here. War Eagle, my man. Ephesians is always good luck. I don't think Auburn doesn't lose on Ephesians. Auburn wins when Ephesians is with us. Auburn loses when he's not with us. So that's the way I look at this, and we're going to need him in the chat tomorrow for sure. All right, so the plan is see you guys tomorrow right around noon. Going to be taking on the winner of this game. It's being contested right now between Texas and Tennessee. I'm hoping for a 15 overtime game. Whoever wins it, that's it. I don't care. And then we reset tomorrow and see if Janai can get it going again, as he did today, and maybe somebody else can help him a little bit more. It can be Denver. It can be Chad. It can be Cheney. Maybe Sir Turtle chips in with 4 points or 6 points. That would be great. D. Lucky said, had to take an intermission work. It happens. Survive and advance. Beating Ole Miss 3 times is damn hard. And Hornatius says, drink more water, JGT. Of course I will. Hydration is something that's important to me. Anthony R. gives a thumbs up, and I'm giving right back to you, bro. Thank you for being here and hanging out with us today. All the legends in the chat today made it definitely worthwhile for everyone involved. Well, I can only speak for myself, but I thought it was great. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Right there around noon Central Time, 1 o'clock for our friends in the Eastern Time Zone. If you are going to be going out tonight, make great decisions and have a great time. And also consider that weather's going to be bad tomorrow, so always understand what that means for you and your specific situation. Till then, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. Love you guys. I'm excited to know that we're going to be back together again tomorrow, because usually it takes a while. But in this case, it will not. See you guys tomorrow. Peace and love. Yeah.